macro shops. That's easy. I mean, I start with an edge, so.
Well, good
Guaranteed.
evening, Free Enterprise fans, and happy start of the summer, everybody. We are here for another wonderful Monday night community race here on the Free Enterprise channel. We are here to watch Edge cut through most of our problems, it looks like. Of course, I'm Demerine too, and giving us the nitty-gritty and the nuts and the bolts tonight will be Moonblazewolf. Blaze, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm good. Looking forward to a lot of double-edged action here tonight watching this seed, and lots of Rydia-themed objectives, which I know we have a lot of Rydia fans in the house, I'm sure.
Rydia seems to be a real popular character, so I'm sure a lot of people are real happy to see this. Not sure our runners are, though, considering required boss Asura, required boss Leviathan spot. This should be fun.
Yeah, this is kind of a neat flag set. As someone who played in the recent Fabul Gauntlet, having 5 objectives felt very comfortable and familiar for me starting out. But we never had a Fabul Gauntlet seed that would start with edge like this. So this will be kind of neat to see what our runners decide to do. There's a couple things also here and there as we're going along, but it's just it's a pretty good competitive. I would say fairly traditional competitive flag set for our runners tonight, and it should be a lot of fun to see what the seed gives them.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, before we get started, I do want to give a little bit of love and a shout out to one of the youngest Free Enterprise fans out there, Dravenheart's son, the paladin in training himself, Cecil. Just went through and is back home from some minor surgery. But we're glad that he is doing all right, and I know that the community thinks he's great. So thank you so much. You're awesome, and that is super important. Our community just spans so many wonderful people of so many ages, and it's always important to remember that.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, just a speedy recovery to Cecil, and best wishes to Mom and the rest of the family as well. Coming through that, we love to hear all about all the wonderful rituals and routines that you all have as part of our community. If it's a family affair, in this case, or just other stuff, anything that is kind of intersectional with your real life that makes this special, we always love to hear about here at Free Enterprise.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, CoffeeAndChocobos names there, as his little one is just about to turn 5. That's also pretty fantastic. So. Gotta give a little bit of love there, but of course I believe we are, as they say, off and rolling today. Let's see what we get to start with.
Looks like it, and I see an idea in chat already to have Cecil and Coffee and Chocobos kid maybe do a race sometime. That sounds good to me. We got a pretty aggressive start here. We got Edge and Yang and a Zeus Gauntlet. That's gonna get that starting Edge just going that much faster here.
Yeah, extra 10 strength, extra 10 vitality as well. I mean, Edge is pretty good at taking a hit in the early game anyway because he's got, like upper tier armor to start. The Zeus Gauntlet just really fills it out nicely as our runners are going to hammer through here and keep on moving.
Yeah, there's not a whole heck of a lot that's going to be able to touch that edge early on, so that's pretty exciting for our runners for sure. We haven't really talked about our runners yet tonight. Our 4 featured runners are Baconpie, Chocosura, Groundflier, and Coffee and Chocobos. We'll see them all getting going here. I already saw a Thunderclaw waiting in the Baron Inn, but that's 4 of our runners. I believe we had close to 30 last I checked, so there's plenty of people that are running this seed offline as well, so we'll see how our featured runners do relative to the rest of the field here.
Yeah, holy heck, the field is gigantic. It does look like it's about 28, which is still pretty impressive. I mean, of course, keep in mind that if you're watching, I know you might be watching because you can't get in on this or something, but if you want to get in on this, we do this Mondays and Fridays. Mondays at 8, Fridays at 10. Come on out. Every skill level is here, from the best of the best to the newest of the new, and we want to see you here. As Chocosura is doing something a play that I love, honestly, which is I've got Edge. Let me see if I can just quickly just plow through Baron Inn with Edge. Second boss, though, being Rubicon, basically says no there.
That's a little tough in that spot because he's going to counter all of the attacks, so not really a great way to get through 4,000 damage there. That seems like a smart move to back out, and I agree. And, you know, now we just all have leg to look forward to a little bit later on in the seed, assuming that our runners want to go back to that, so...
Yeah, baconpie picked up an ice brand though in the back of Baron. So if it comes to it, that is a tool that can be used to take down the man of leg very quickly. We have all our screens are showing the missed boss checks. We've got D-Lunars in the shower room, and we had Ogopogo sitting in the missed cave. So 2 annoying bosses off the table already.
Yeah, and you're going to see our runners probably do all of their boss checks because we do have, in addition to needing to find Bahamut and Asura, we also have that D-Mist that could be out there with a key item as well. So there's going to be a lot of incentive for our runners to check all of those loose boss spots as they're going along pretty much.
Stardust, pick up on a ninja shirt. Ninja shirt lets you move Edge's starting black belt armor over to Yang, and you can put the ninja shirt on Edge. He'll hit a little bit less hard, but he'll be faster, which is usually kind of frightening, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. I also saw a Gungnir Spear in baconpie's inventory, so probably also pulled that out of Baron if I was to guess. So depending on what other characters are in this seed, we have a lot of really good equipment early. Chocosura also getting a Dwarf Axe, which is very useful for a variety of things. It's a very good utility weapon there. There are only 7 characters in the seed, and we already know 3 of them. We know that Edge, Yang, and Rydia are in the seed because we have to find Rydia. So there's only 4 others. Fu is not in the seed, but it could be any of the other characters that are still out and about.
Yeah, there's also an Ice Clawed Longsword in the back of Troya and the treasury there, so groundflier is also an extra black belt armor, so groundflier is stacked with gear now on his party, so that's pretty fantastic, honestly.
For sure, and you can also get duplicates in this flag set as well. So we could potentially see our runners find, you know, a second Edge. Oh, hey, there's a cane too on Chocosura's screen along with a blue robe. So that means we got 4 out of the 7 characters identified here.
And another big physical hitter. So it looks like our runners will probably be looking at team big physical hitter to finish out this seed because I mean this is a heck of a backbone to be playing with here. You know. Gungnir Spear Cane can go in, Edge can go in, Yang, once he's got the levels, he can go in. It's pretty good.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of dishing stuff out, dishing out the damage here early on for sure, just because of some of these tools we've already seen the runners acquire. And these are really, really good characters early on. I mean, Yang is probably the worst of these 3 characters at this point, and is still going to do just fine, especially if can get some of those elemental claws going as well.
I mean, there were Ice Claws and Thunder Claws out in treasure chests, so it is likely that Yang will be online for that, but it actually honestly might be more damage to just take them off of Yang and offhand it on Edge if necessary, like the offhand, like main hand longsword, offhand Ice Claw for Rubicon will just absolutely smash through Rubicon's defenses. Oh,
for sure, yeah, and like just the... Like, it's really nice to have already acquired that full set of claws this early on because Yang starts with a Fire Claw, so you already got that one covered. And then you pull the Thunder Claw and Ice Claw out of chests. So now, like, you don't even necessarily need to go shopping anymore if you really want to. There might be, like, 1 or 2 weapon-type things that you're looking for, but, I mean, you've already got all of your Elemental Claws. You've already got a Dwarf Axe for Kane and a better weapon. We've seen Ice Brand. We've seen Gungnir Spear. So, yeah, there's just a lot of really, really good high-quality weapons and really useful weapons that our runners have already found this early on.
Yep, groundflier taking an early shot here at Rubicon now as well. Gets the news that that leg is here and it is leg day, and is going to slash away without fear. I mean, this is not a really high hit point spot, and the counters are going to do decent but not atrocious damage. It's likely that Edge can just power through this with some swings.
You might need to get lucky with who catches that glare, but yeah, other than that, I completely agree. You might be able to just kind of squeak this one out. This spot's also very slow, and Edge is extremely fast, so having Edge in the middle slot here is really smart too for groundflier.
And there's the power hit, so that doesn't get a counter. The 5th swing is going to be more than enough to take us over 4,000 damage. So Rubicon in the dumpster. Edward, I mean, also in the dumpster, but he's in the party.
For now. Ooh, and Vanilla Baron Key, anyone. Very nice. Oh, and Chocosura just found Demist.
As does Coffee and Chocobos right behind. Edge is going to probably make short work of this Misty Dragon here, so on no surprise, we've got gear, and gear is here.
Yeah, this will be interesting. I'm pretty sure the spoon flag is not enabled, so we're definitely going to be kind of carting this Edward around for a little while, but still. And that is important to note for our runners, just because part of having the limited character set like this is just sort of being able to check off, like, okay, I have 2 chances left to find a white mage now, potentially, which with a party like this is going to be extremely important, so...
I mean, we know 5 party members already now, because we've got the three beefy physical hitters, we've got Edward, and we've got Rydia out there in the world somewhere. So 2 other characters still exist, and so with Fusoya out of the pool, that does take one of the white mages out of the pool as well. So things could get a little dicey really quickly. Hope you like Cure 3 potions.
Or 1 out of 3 chances to fail healing your party with the Asura summon.
I still don't want to talk about that. Can we not talk about that?
I've been there. I can relate, but yes.
See, it had nothing to do with healing my own party. Just all my opponents always get what they want. I mean, what?
So that Antlion Cave Demist turned into the Legend Sword, and then on the turn-in back in Mist Village turned into the Spoon. So at least you got 2 key items out of the deal, but nothing that equals progression. So we are still on the hunt for that underground access here.
Yeah, I mean, Spoon, even if it's not online for Edward, is still something that Edge can do immense damage once with. Fling it at a problem and make it, well, I mean, unless it's a really high-level problem, make it disappear. As our runners start to sort of tread old ground here, Chocosura has found the original flavor melon here in Fabul. So gonna just try and use flame to take down the little ones, and then just gonna go to town otherwise.
Yeah, not too much to report here. This should be pretty smooth fight, and the rest of our runners are kind of overlapping each other a little bit. So, this has been a pretty intense 9 minutes so far. Runners are really not having any problem clearing anything out. So, we're just seeing a lot of barreling ahead through the challenges of the seed here.
Yeah, Edge really lets you put the pedal down, because he is just so powerful for the early game. He comes into level 25. He's got gear. So you're seeing our runners just put the pedal down here. There's just a heroin robe here and a gun roulette. Well, there's a gun roulette, so another one. A heroin robe, though, otherwise from the King of Fabul. So no progress here either. So I guess we're going mountain climbing.
Yep, it looks like our progression is going to be on Fabul or through that Baron Key is the other possibility. So we still do have a couple places to check off the list before we figure out what we need to do next. Now, the other interesting thing about this format, and we'll see what our runners decide to do once they do get underground, but just to kind of preview things a little bit, if they want to, because we don't have the Darkness Crystal yet, we don't have Fu, so the odds of us being able to do something like a D-Machine grind are pretty low. But we do have Edge, who can go steal Sirens out of the Tower of Babel lower. So as soon as our runners get underground access, they do have the option, if they want to open the faucet on those Sirens potentially, and then do some grinding that way.
Also of note, there's Edward in the bed here in Kaipos. That's a blank. There was in the back of Rydia's mother's house was a ninja sword and a rune axe. So more high-powered weaponry for our runners here on this this very friendly T standard so far.
Did you say bedward?
Yeah, we've got alternate bedward. Yes.
How many? Are there other beds in this game in which it could be I think that's the only other one, right?
Yeah, that's it. There's Bedward and there's alternate Bedward. That's really it.
So would you say this is a double Bedward seed?
I mean, we're not going to see the other Bedward because it's no free key item, so we'll go with no. As our runners, again, still sort of pushing it out here. We saw their life potions are available in Baron, which, of course, is really useful. It's one of the very few things I think I've looked for in S-Pro and item shops, honestly, just to make sure I have a bunch of them. And I know Cure 2s are located as well, so there's a good... we're good on items. Items were good.
Yeah, there's going to be some interesting shopping decisions probably to make in the second half of the seed, especially if we don't find a white mage for a while. But right now, I mean, I think our runners are going to be just fine to cruise through at least the rest of the overworld in all likelihood, so...
Yeah, CoffeeAndChocobos, though, has decided let's just take this Baron key and just chase it, instead of going up the mountain like groundflier is. And immediately just sets the soldiers on fire here on the Kaipo's guards, so this should be over in a sec.
Yeah, they would have known that was, one of the possible bosses there from the intro to the game, so that's definitely the easier of the two. If you got the actual Baron guards, that could be a little bit of a problem if you don't have a mute bell or something. Also, I just want to point out, I did see CoffeeAndChocobos just pull an Asura summon out of the 3 chests to the right of the Baigon spot there. So once we do find our Rydia, we at least have the option of doing healing things.
Of course, CoffeeAndChocobos is then quote-unquote rewarded with, it looks like, yeah, we've got original gauntlets, so 16 soldiers in a chair.
One of the memes that started it all. 16 enemies sitting on the throne here in Baron tonight, so... Not gonna be a challenge, just gonna take a while. So, what's everybody else up to? Did anybody, looks like we're on Hobbs and Baron in... Don't think anybody's hit ordeals yet.
I'm sad. There's still 2 bosses we need to locate. We need Bahamut and Asura. I mean, the mountain feels like a great play. I mean, also, though, we don't have Cecil, we don't have Tella, so the mountain feels like a terrible play.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no, wrong play at this point when you can basically do whatever you want, but I agree. Like, you're almost certainly going to end up wanting to do both of them just because of the boss hunts. If there wasn't a boss hunt and you had already found Demas like our runners had, I think I would be inclined to try to skip ordeals if possible, but in this case, you're almost certainly going to need to do it anyway.
Yeah, the odds are really with you that that's the play, so, it's a real interesting divergence, and we're going to see what our runners do. It looks like baconpie is flying straight to the mountain here and parking it, so baconpie has decided that maybe the Baron key doesn't have the Baron key yet, so it doesn't know that Baron in gives the Baron key. Edward, not a very exciting character, honestly.
Yeah, I can't really blame him for that at all. Wanting to find something other than Edward, and it might end up being, a good move here, because if this is where our progression is, odds are, from the look of things, baconpie is going to be the first person to obtain that.
Yeah, I mean, on the flip, CoffeeAndChocobos is also potentially prioritizing character spots. This does give us a character check. Could find a white mage, could find Rydia, could find another Edward, but, free enterprise.
Could find another edge as well, which is interesting, because although this is sea relax, so never mind. You could actually find anybody anywhere, I believe.
Hey, what's up?
That looks like a white mage.
The dream is real. We're gonna loot the trash can too. We get a white mage. We find the wrong summon boss up here. There's Odin. So summon monster, yes, the one we wanted. No, Thunderclaw gonna do a ton of work though.
Yeah, this won't be too threatening in this spot. Now, if it was on the other side of the bridge, I'd be gulping a little bit, worried about that. But this shouldn't be a problem here.
Yeah, on the other side of the bridge, Odin will absolutely obliterate you fairly quickly because of the extra turn that he gets to start off. On this side of the bridge, you can't even kill you with the Zenitsu skin, so it's not even a problem. Oh man, Trash Bin Twin Harp? I mean, yeah, found garbage there. That's exactly it.
Trash harp, anyone? I think we know. Well, I shouldn't say for sure. Looks like Coffee and Chocobos is going to go check that Odin spot, but I would be pretty surprised if he went to Ordeals after this. I think you've kind of committed to this. You've gone through the whole gauntlet. You don't have any, reason to avoid the Twin Harp. You might as well chase it and also give the people what they want.
I don't know. I'm on team Never Twin Harp, so I don't know. I'm not into this. It was guards on the backside of the bridge, so Chocosura, no problem. Baconpie, no problem. Assassin Dagger doing the work there. Chocosura, unafraid, not even going back to safety save.
Yeah, you got edge, but you're fine. Coffee and Chocobos found the Dark Imp, or the Dark Elf, excuse me, in the Odin spot, so that's a little out of the range of what you can do with this party, but honestly that's not too bad. You just need a little bit more utility probably.
On top of the mountain though is potential progress. The coin toss is in play now. Darkness crystals for all.
Oh boy, that's going to be interesting to see if any of our runners choose to pass on Ordeals now, because if they do, if groundflier Coffee and Chocobos does go from the Baron Inn to the Baron Castle to the Twin Harp, they're going to miss out on the Darkness Crystal potentially for a while, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we know that there's a path to the underground on Earth, though. That's the other thing here, so... It shouldn't be, it's not a big concern, because now that means that we know that Twin Harp is the right path to getting underground.
Yeah, we do know that for sure. Or, the chain will continue to, the Earth Crystal or something like that. Potentially, you could see, I don't think we'll see this, but with the Darkness Crystal and Thunderclaws, you do have the option of trying to go do a Mac Giant grind. I don't, like I said, expect to see our runners doing any of that, because there's really not a great reason to want to get those advanced levels at this point, and you do have the edge in a lot of these other powerful party members that you don't really necessarily need to charge up to go do the underground, but it would be kind of an interesting option, and I have to admit I'm a little curious to see if anybody's going to attempt something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that we don't really have a lot of tools for doing things on the moon, but Baconpie is going to summon up the whale. Probably going to chase the character down at least. Maybe check the shop up there, because it's an upgraded shop. But again, no hourglasses, no Bacchus wines, no sirens in shops, unless it's the Coca-Cola shop on these flags. So, I don't know. It's a play, certainly. I kind of like it. I mean, fill out your party. You could get, another edge. 7th character could turn out to be, Cecil. We don't know yet.
I mean, you could also find that Rydia, that's one of your objectives, so that's potentially an option too. So you can check the boss in Cave Bahamut, that's pretty easy to do. There's definitely a few things that you could do here to gain information and possibly push yourself ahead a little bit that way. But yeah, I don't think this party is going to be capable of doing too much on the moon at this point. It looks like Chocosura has the same idea, so that's kind of interesting to see here.
Yeah, and characters here don't have enough power to maybe take down there's Star Veils, so you need Star Veils. Here, have some Star Veils. Doesn't have necessarily the power to take down a behemoth, for example, which would net you about 55,000 experience points, which is a good option when grind options are sparse and physical hitters are not. But you kind of need to have a little bit of experience to get started in a way to patch your party up, because the behemoth counters will at this point kill your party.
Yeah, you would need illusions or something out of that moon shop if you wanted to probably make a play like that. Honestly, for the Mac Giant grind, you would probably need that as well. One thing about the Mac Giant grind that is usually doesn't come up, but it is relevant in this situation, is the character wearing the Zeus gauntlets will not be damaged by the Mac Giants, pretty much. It does grant a special resistance, I believe, to that class of enemy, and I'm almost positive any swings are going to do basically 1 or very little damage if you're wearing those.
Well, there are illusions up here, so that option does exist right now for our runners. I mean, keeping in mind the Mac Giant grind is a very high tier, very technical grind. I don't want to understate the degree of difficulty, but the Mac Giant grind is a very difficult grind because of kind of the setup that goes into it. You're not instantly killing them. You've got to have a way to keep your party alive. You can stop them, but we don't have a stop caster yet. So there's a lot going on here that you got to kind of consider when it comes to how you grind.
Oh, hey, we found a new character on the moon.
Oh, hey, look, white mages. Man, I don't even take Rydia at this point. I mean, look at this backbone party. You got Kane, you got Edge, you got Yang, and you got 2 white mages.
Yeah, you've got 3 amazing melee characters and 2 berserkers. What more do you really need?
I mean, usually put my controller down, grab a drink, take some time, relax, have a little bit of fun, chat with chat. I don't know. Pretty much anything but actually play the game at that point.
Yeah, I think for sure. We didn't see CoffeeAndChocobos go immediately follow up on that twin harp either, which is interesting. So.
Yeah, not rolling the dice on the music here, so not giving the fans what they want. We know it'll take us to the underground, but of course, I guess the fans were right. Hate it.
I mean, the funny thing is, you said you're like team never twin harp, and I'm team never ordeals. Like, I want to skip ordeals every time I possibly can, which unfortunately is not this flag set with the multiple boss hunts, but I'm definitely feeling the tension between those 2 choices watching our runners right now.
I mean, there's always that great tension. The decisions are difficult, and you're guessing, right? You're kind of going in blind. You're looking at, do I want to fight 3 bosses, or do I want to prioritize the character slot? Do I want to prioritize chasing the item I got from the character slot? Do I really want to go up to the moon? What kind of chance do I stand on the moon? Baconpie's like, I don't. Chocosura is like, I want to do hair dryers. Hair dryers are 30,000 experience points. I'm all about that life.
It's good to get those incremental experience gains with a party like this too, just because your power level's already pretty high, so you just kind of want to make sure that you're ticking up so that you're on par, ideally even a little bit better than the monsters that you're fighting against, just to make those fights pretty easy.
Oh, I see why he's doing this, because he located an hourglass, so he's gonna put these on lockdown, berserk edge, and then go to absolute town with life glitches here for a bunch of experience points.
It's a good little insurance policy too against some of those maybe like slightly mid-tier overworld spots like the Demerine, and later, like we know, the twin harp as well. Just because you might run into a rude boss there, or those bosses do have more hit points. So that does make it a little bit trickier to fight them potentially. But when you're going to gain probably like 4 or 5 levels here on each of your characters. Rosa's probably going to get double that if I'm just kind of eyeballing things correctly here. So this is definitely going to hopefully allow Chocosura to do the other stuff back on the Earth a little bit faster than everybody else once he's back down there.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is just so you're aware with the life glitch, by the way, for newer watchers. Basically, what we're doing here is we are attempting to basically throw life potions at enemies that are in the process of dying. The reason being is that basically life potions resurrect you to have 5 times your vitality stat in hit points. One interesting thing about that is that enemies have 0 vitality, which means that if you successfully throw a life potion at an enemy, it resurrects them with 0 hit points. Killing them a second time, thereby doubling your experience pull from that particular enemy, can only be done when there's more than one enemy that are not undead or boss flagged. But, I mean, again, you're going to see Chocosura get a big pile of experience here, and obviously use that, kind of leverage that to get Rosa online. It's 53,000 experience with the life glitches, which is, a dragon egg and a half, which is pretty fantastic.
Yep, and then again, you get a double on Rosa because she's in that slingshot territory, which is her level is 5 levels or less, 5 levels or more, excuse me, than the median level of the party. So basically, the way I always think about it is look at your top 3 levels in your party, and then look at the 4th and 5th. And if the gap is at least 5, the 4th and 5th will get that double XP.
Also, really quickly, we do have music about to have ground flyer, so we're going to take a moment. And Chocosura got a crystal something, and I didn't catch what it was.
Enjoy the music, everybody.
Ground Flyer's audio is a little bit faint because it is one of the faintest songs in the harp library. That is To Xanarkand from Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, I wasn't quite... I was able to hear the tune. I wasn't quite able to figure out what it was. But I'm sure we'll get a replay of it here. Because it's required. We'll get several more chances at it, chat, so it'll be okay.
Yeah, Dark Knight Cecil lies behind, so just gonna go ahead and take the 300 damage to the party and just call it a day here. So that's that for that. CoffeeAndChocobos is in the Giant right now. This is real gamble time, I think. I'm not sure if this is a... Oh, is this a Mac Giant grind setup? This is pretty wild.
Yep, I am down for whatever CoffeeAndChocobos is doing right now. I think this is going to be fantastic because he's also, it looks like, got that Porum that they can slingshot, and yes, that is definitely the fight that CoffeeAndChocobos is looking for. Which for those of you watching in chat, he is looking for a single searcher. That is the encounter that he is looking for, and on this floor, that will always be the one that summons the Mac Giants.
With 2 Thunderclaw, this is actually a pretty good idea, though. Like, you've got Edge and Gang each hitting for about 2k. Like, again, we need a way to keep this party alive, but it's because, look, Gang is just dead. Like, not even a little dead, like a lot dead.
Yeah, the concern here is definitely going to be the defense part of it, and yeah, maybe a little bit overly ambitious here. We'll see how this goes, but I mean, you definitely going for it, and got to respect that. So see, you can tell Edge has the Zeus Gauntlet equipped because in the back row he's only taking 1 damage. The problem is Edge is not back row glitched clearly, so that's going to really kind of limit things. But at least CoffeeAndChocobos was able to finish off and get at least 1 Mac Giant worth of XP here.
Yeah, 31 grand, not quite enough to get Porum online. Level 25 is a little shy of Cure 3, but yeah, it's a little bit of extra experience here kind of getting started. It's a long, and it's just walking out. It's a long trip for that 31 grand. It's a long...
I think it's just, if I was to guess, it was kind of an experimental foray into the world of Mac Giant grind, and maybe just kind of deciding that was a little bit too much, but also at the same time did pick up that XP and now is going to really just be able to go to the Twin Harp here. And again, kind of like what we were talking about with Chocosura earlier, has picked up some additional levels, has picked up some insurance, if you will, for this next fight.
Yeah, no, it ends up being like, I am way on team let's grind it out a little bit. You know, again, there's a little bit of price in terms of time, but ultimately, you know, you need to get levels somehow. What CoffeeAndChocobos does not know is that music is going to net him a hook, which is what Groundflier is sitting on right now, which means, I mean, we're looking at a hook route, we're looking at another character spot, it could be a Rydia. I mean, everybody has at least 1 white mage by now, so, you know, we're good on the healer front if you're, you know, you want to get that healer online, get that berserk going, because that's going to be kind of our only real sources of it here, but that's kind of where we stand right now.
Yeah, there's just, I mean, this is a really good place to be in. If you're at a runner about the 30-minute mark and you've got a hook capable party. It looks like groundflier, by the way, is going to go to ordeals here, which definitely seems like a good move. So we'll go ahead and get that darkness crystal here as well shortly. But you're not really afraid of too much going through that hook route, particularly. So it's a good position to be in about 30 minutes in the race, knowing that you're either have full cleared or close to full cleared the overworld. You have your underground access, and there's probably not going to be much that gets in the way at this point. So really it's mostly just trying to decide how thorough you want to be before you kind of charge through that hook route, I would say.
Yeah, and with boss safety on, we know it's not going to be Valvalis, we know it's not going to be Golbez, we know it's not going to be Wyvern. We know that we have Ogopogo. If you've been through boss checks early, we know Ogopogo's off the table, you know D-Lunars are off the table, you know that, like, getting a real fast gauntlet is off the table. There's still some powerhouses out there. There's still a couple of frightening bosses, but, it's got to be like Evil Wall, basically, so a lot of the really bad bosses are out of the way as well for our runners here.
Yeah, I was going to add DKC to that list. He's off the table as well because you just fought him in the Magnus Cave, or in Coffee and Chocobos' case, you're about to find out that he is in the Magnus Cave here. So, yeah, I would say, like, Evil Wall, Kanazo, maybe... No, that's pretty much it, honestly. I mean, I'm sure I could think of one or two more that are rough, but really those are, like, the two really scary ones that are out there.
I mean, Antlion in the King Queen Evelyn spot can probably be a little frightening as well, as it can just one-shot each of your party members as you go. But even then, looking at, like, Coffee and Chocobos grab those extra levels, Chocosura grab those extra levels, their big bruisers are sitting around 14 to 1600 already.
Yeah, Chocosura really took the efficient path to getting some of that extra XP there. So, and baconpie gets their trash harp. And we'll be quiet again for that second Twin Harp music here from Coffee and Chocobos.
So Coffee and Chocobos is through the music encore here, and is going to get the hook. Groundflier, of course, is finishing up the mountain now. Sasso Dagger again doing some work, taking out those guards pretty much post-haste. Mute Dagger was also an option runners had used to take them down in one shot, so lots of good options for slaying the guardsmen there. And then, yeah, we're going to get our... baconpie is going to give us our third listen to the music. Chocosura is going to be... Chocosura is a little bit behind in terms of progress right now. Did a little bit more on the moon. Been a little bit more thorough overall. So Chocosura, while lagging behind, also has more experience and has a good set of tools here.
Yeah, and Coffee and Chocobos does have that hook now, and I think they have done everything, and did get that one Mac Giant on the Giant as well. So don't have Rosa, but aside from that, looking pretty good here to get underground.
Yeah, gonna have to flip back over to the airship to go pick up the hovercraft here. So gonna have to fly back to Mysidia real quick.
On the plus side, everyone in Troya was really, really impressed by your big whale, though, Coffee and Chocobos.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta get the swag going. You gotta take the whale to Troya. That's how that works. Double swag if you've got the pass, because you gotta ride up in style.
I mean, it still just takes up one parking spot, so I mean, why not, right?
I mean, look, and it's powered by the moon. It's efficient. It's it's overall just a great vehicle. Chocosura has decided that, hey, maybe I could take down this Dark Elf, so I'm gonna make the magic happen.
It's not a bad play. I think Chocosura might have an Hourglass for the second phase as well. That would definitely help, because chewing through the first, 40% or so of the hit points isn't really going to be too difficult, just because of the magic attacks and the weak you can kind of get through. It's that second half that you're going to be a little bit scared about. So we'll see what happens here after the me change.
Yeah, the D-Breath doing percentage damage and the melee attacks getting a little bit heavier. You're not the greatest thing. The magic damage, though, is near non-existent in this spot because this is Odin. And the magic damage needed to be near non-existent for the Odin Slice to not basically immediately dust you here in the vanilla game because you have no other way of defending against it. Yeah, I think he's just going with straight up Berserk strats while we get our third listen to the music here.
It should work as long as Rosa stays upright, so it'll be interesting to see what Chocosura gets out of this spot.
Chocosura through hook character, not Rydia, it's another gang. And great experience, but just a protect ring for Chocosura here, so no help, just giving, bleeding time here a little bit. And it was a Lunar Sparkle at the Rubicon spot, so we know it's not D-Lunar, we know it's an Ogopogo, we know it's not Wyvern. That leaves us with Plague and Pale Dim.
Not too worried about either of those. Have we seen a curse ring at all? Does anybody know?
I don't think so. I know that at least Chocosura has been nursing a very low-level Edward and leaving him face down forever. I think groundflier has the same stratagem as well, so they might have a low-speed anchor anyways, to sort of make the low agility magic happen.
Yeah, I'll just be curious to see with Plague specifically, if that is what it is, if that will work with a base level Edward without a curse ring. It should, just because of Edge, but maybe not universally, which is what we usually like to see in that fight. You don't want anybody to go down if you do have that super low agility anchor, so...
I mean, on the flip side of the coin, though, you could just do the fight. I mean, if it's Plague, you could just do the fight straight up. Like, you just do the fight with... your first character deciding to punch out your Edward and, then just res your Edward over and over again. You may only have one Berserker at that point, but you'll get through the fight just fine. Allmade letting us know there was a curse ring sitting in Baron's treasury, which is not something everybody loots. So I don't know if that really rates as an easily accessible curse ring for everybody. I never opened that chest. I don't even know where it is.
Yeah, I saw Chocosura looting that, so that would make sense. Also, probably, I noticed Chocosura didn't reset out of the Odin fight after getting the Protect Ring, which, I mean, that's perfectly defensible either way, but if you had the added chests as well, that would make me less likely to reset if I had found some good stuff on the way down to Odin as well.
Yeah, and plus it's experience. Like, again, we're still sort of kind of grinding for a little bit of extra experience to kind of give us a little bit more survivability. Chocosura doesn't know that he's about to be on the hook route. And again, with this party, though, he is making pretty good time through all of this. Like, like the catch-up factor is real here. Chocosura is a real good runner though. Like Chocosura has been competitive in multiple events overall, just a very strong runner. So not too much of a surprise that he's cutting a swath through the rest of the seed right now. But we'll see if Groundflier and Coffee and Chocobos can maintain that little bit of lead that they've picked up at this point.
Yeah, I think it's just going to depend on how easily they can get through these two bosses. So we got the elements here first. It looks like Coffee and Chocobos is going to give us our first peek here. This is a little scary without a mage. This is a boss that's pretty easy to defeat if you have a mage. Might be a little trickier without. One tip, this should work out pretty well looking at Coffee and Chocobo's setup. The Rubicant in this fight is actually considered a mage, so watch here. Yep, there it goes.
Yeah, without damage mage knife swing. You can also, I've also seen people do that fight with elemental claws, right? You just power swing at Millen with a fire claw and do quad damage, and then if you have a second claw user, just ice claw Rubicant and you're done. You have to kind of survive a fire 2 volley, which is a little annoying, but otherwise it works out okay. And we know this Lunar Sparkle is, oh, it's Pale Dim, 23,000 hit points. He's just gonna start punching in a minute.
And Porum should have Blink, so this is probably just going to be kind of a long and grindy fight, if I was to guess.
Yeah, we don't really have any dragon killing gear. We've only seen Gunner Lances. Dragoon Lances are too high a tier for us to really get them easily. So we're going to take off the Elemental Claws, though, because Pale Dim is resistant to all the main elements, Fire, Ice, and Lightning. So Elemental Claws go away. Double Poison Claw. Coffee and Chocobos ready for this particular problem as well. Doing about 1,000 to swing with Edge. You're probably going to be doing about the same with Yang here, so should be pretty all right.
Yeah, this is a good situation for Coffee and Chocobos for sure. They're not gonna have any problem getting through this. It's just gonna be a little bit of a slog. So
yeah, Groundflier are going to be picking up the Mad Ogres here for the with the Assassin Dagger. Again, Assassin and Mutant Knives both going to be great for this fight, so going to get some life glitches, going to get some well-needed experience points. Baconpie is going to find the Staleman chest here as well, which not usually is exciting, not worth as much experience.
no, but maybe you get a good item out of it. Also, I just have to point out, and this is not a criticism, of course, at all, but one interesting difference that we see here between our 3 runners and Chocosura, who did only has Rosa, is Chocosura had to run out of the Magnus Cave after getting that hook, whereas all of our other runners were able to exit out because they had a Porum that had exit.
Team Porum's number 1, never forget, take 2 white mages, it's better than 1.
Porum, for all utility purposes, Porum is clearly, well, I shouldn't say clearly better, but like for all the non-healing stuff, I would say Porum is definitely better than Rosa. But then for survivability and healing later on, I don't know, can't really beat Rosa. Getting that Cure 4 at level 39, so good.
So yeah, so Coffee and Chocobo slogging it out. All 4 of our runners here in the Upper Babel / Cave Eblin network here. So Groundflier pulling up to the elements here. Let's see if he deals with it with just as much aplomb as everybody else has at this point so far. And by everyone else, I mean just one person.
So just to kind of recap where everything is, also, we haven't found Rydia yet. We have not found Bahamut yet. We have not found the Pan yet. We have not found Asura yet. And so really the only thing that we are guaranteed to get access to is that Leviathan spot once we get underground here. But really, like, we have a lot of stuff we're still looking for.
Yeah, still a lot of seed to go. Many moon bosses that we all have access to. Feeling pretty good about that. Coffee and Chocobos slogs it out. No big deal. Easy game, easy life. Takes down Pale Dim, and will be our first runner underground at about 45 minutes.
Yeah, nicely done. There's not a great way to speed up that fight. unless you have the Dragoon Lance or something like that, Artemis arrows, things of that nature. Get a quick peek at the Maga Sisters at the top of the tower there. Not too scary, because that spot has very low magic. It's also kind of interesting. There's not really a clear first option here for Coffee and Chocobos getting to the underground. So I'll be curious to see kind of the route that each of our runners takes to progress from this point forward, because all of them have done everything conceivable that you can do above ground at this point. And so you're going to be kind of coming into the underground on even footing. So it'll be interesting to see, maybe there are certain hot spots that have all the goods, and then there's other stuff that's just going to be kind of a dud, and that might dictate some of how things go from here.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of see what's going on though underground. I mean, we're gonna keep an eye on Coffee Chocobos. Groundflier did leave the elemental claws on Yang here, so Yang's gonna be hitting half as hard, which is not helpful for getting through this fight in a timely fashion. But you know, Team Angry. Gonna do some work here. Baconpie rolling up right now. Gonna find the elements here.
You'd see a curse ring there for sale at Dwarf Castle, so that's going to be easily accessible for all of our runners for the second half of the seed here. And Yang meets Bouncing Yang behind the dwarf throne, so this will be kind of interesting here.
Please stop the Yang on Yang violence. You know, we're gonna have Yang hitting Yang. We're gonna have Yang hitting Yang later, but we just don't need this. But yeah, about what 65-ish, 6,500-ish experience here, or hit points here. So just gonna again get the Team Angry and just slam through. It's gonna be, we're gonna see a lot of making the frontline berserk and then going to town here. Chocosura again making good time catching up here. You got Groundflier setting up. Groundflier setting up, and by setting up we mean setting down Pale Dim permanently. And so Groundflier about 4 minutes behind Coffee and Chocobos, making it underground, and Baconpie is working it out right now. So again, all of our runners likely to be under 55 minutes, which is really still pretty solid for all the things that we've had access to.
Yeah, considering the how much of the earth was required to get this underground access, this is really, really impressive for sure. Oh, hi, Wyvern.
Bye, everybody.
Oh no, that is the worst.
No,
oh wait, Yang survived.
Yang survived.
Yang survived and he reset. Oh no.
Oh no, yeah, Yang can survive that. It only hits her about 1,000. That spot is Golbez, and that scripted fight has nearly no magic output because it's a scripted fight. Gotta be aware. That is a rough beat right there.
I have done that before. I'm definitely guilty of that myself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people have done it. Gonna set up Yang with a curse ring, so the lower level Yang is gonna be slow enough to help out with that, you know, to make sure somebody will get a turn. Gonna drop the battle speed a little bit, so gonna do a little bit of extra setup. Could have actually probably just gotten through that with about 3 Yang swings. That spot's only got, what, 24-ish under hit points. Not that healthy. You might be able to just outspeed it and just hit it 3 or 4 times and get through it.
Yeah, the tricky thing with that though is the battle speed one, because it can be hard to chain enough life potions together to keep your team alive while you're getting nuked. But that being said, yeah, I mean there's a chain of events that you can follow there that probably would have resulted in a win. But at the same time, like that's not that uncommon of a thing to see, and I'm sure this refight is going to go very smoothly now.
Yeah, just has to make sure to keep Yang healed up here. Gotta make sure that 1700 hit points is fine. Probably gonna probably be reliant on the fact that Nose now can run buffer and set up the Star Veil anyways. Also notable is that CoffeeAndChocobos did trade away Porum for Rosa here. So it's just gonna go with the one white mage and one white mage, 3 hitters and an anchor setup here, which is not too surprising.
Yep. Definitely. So while we're waiting on that, we got baconpie and Chocosura doing Pale Dim. We got groundflier stealing sirens, which is something I was kind of curious about, how quickly our runners potentially could pull the trigger on that as well. So do we have crying Porum as well?
We do have crying Porum as well, so we're all in on using Cry, which increases Edge's steal rate for some reason. Final Fantasy IV.
That robot is so flustered. It is programmed to not harm more than 10% of a human.
baconpie is on the composition that I like here with the Rosa and the Porum, so the double white mage comp does make it through. At the same time, Chocosura does around 52 minutes, so about another 4 minutes a gap here for our runners here getting underground. But again, still right around 52 minutes, which is still, again, pretty solid, all things considered, especially for Chocosura, who has done literally everything except for looking at moon bosses. CoffeeAndChocobos' setup is going to pay off here, going to get off a Star Veil on Rosa, and Edge just evades the whole darn thing. Edge is like, yeah, I'm cool, I don't even want any part of this. And so Rosa alive, Edge alive, Yang survives because he's got 1800 hit points. No problems here. Gonna just take a couple slashes at Wyvern and we can all go home.
Should be good there. I'll be curious to see what we get here momentarily. I have to agree with you, by the way. I like the 2 white mage setup, especially in a seed like this where you don't have easy access to Bacchus wines. You're going to be relying on those white mages to do the berserking for you. And so, you might just want to try to roll with some combination of 2 white mages and 3 melee characters and hope for the best anchor-wise. But I'm with you. I like the 2 white mage setup.
Yeah, again, it does soften up your party anchor-wise a little bit. But on the flip side of the coin, you do get off the ground a lot faster in fights. If you need to get off Blinks to, say, take on Antlion on the moon, you've got that set up all ready for you there, because you can get those Blinks up in a hurry.
Oh, one other thing I'm just going to point out here, and this is not anything that is... It's kind of just a reason, I would say, to maybe avoid Dwarf Castle for now, but the warp glitch is enabled in this flag set. But we have not found Rydia yet. Even if we did, I don't know if we would actually keep her to use that warp spell, but that is something to watch out for the rest of the seed, is the warp glitch is in play, and by doing the Dwarf Castle fight before you find a Rydia with warp, you are potentially putting yourself in a spot where you have to find the Luca key that somebody else may not need to find.
Yeah, but we also have no clue where Rydia is, so we're completely stuck out on that front. It's hard to, I think it's hard to justify waiting at this point. I mean, we still need a lot. It's a double boss plus a character check. Plus a key item, so it gives you a shot at everything. I mean, do we get anything from it? I mean, we got the admin rock. I mean, we've got Coal Shop, so that does possibly mean that CoffeeAndChocobos might not need to steal sirens, because could go down there and open up a shop that's like, yo, you want sirens and ninja swords? We can roll with this.
Well, for sure. I'm curious to see, because we got baconpie also stealing sirens up here. We got Chocosura kind of doing what CoffeeAndChocobos did. But if groundflier, for example, is able to take this, maybe go to the Fey March, actually take out those Fey March bosses, one of which we know is required, somehow get Rydia in the process. And I mean, this is sounding more and more absurd the longer I talk about it, so maybe just I should stop now. I'm ahead, but it could be something to watch for. I'll just leave it at that.
Does this end on Keyless Tower? Because that's terrible. We do have Hourglass 2s are for sale, so if you wanted to grind, you know, Lunar Encounters, you could. Like, that's now in play. You want an Excalibur? Here's an Excalibur. You should probably sell that and turn that into another power shirt, because Cecil's not this seed.
Yeah. Definitely. Nope. But I guess Edge can chuck it at something, so that's good.
True, it is like it is the second highest powered dart in the game, I guess. I mean, that's pretty good. So yeah, power shirt, Hourglass 2, glass masks. If you wanted a glass mask, and samurai bows, I believe, were for sale. Venerable, please. Chocosura, no problem here, gets off the wall here, and Kane just outright survives the Mega Nuke, so gonna work this over here. Doesn't take the second Rosa, already has one, feeling pretty good about that. baconpie looking over the old inventory here and just is going to decide to fling a lightsaber directly into the siren, or into the alert for 3 grand. Goodbye, good luck. Nice to know you. Gonna grab that Stardust Rod, which, you know, you could sell that for another power shirt.
Yeah, nobody's going to be able to use that.
Unless you take Rydia and then level... Right. Sorry.
We all wanted Rydia. It's Rydia's journey, and unfortunately I think Rydia's journey is going to be directly to the Tower of Wishes tonight.
Groundflier having a little bit of trouble here with this particular dragon, but does get the second swing off. Party pretty beaten up here. Should take the time to save and heal.
Yeah, unfortunately, those eggs are not going down without a fight for Groundflier, and that's not ideally how you want to do it, but it is how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, going in here with like everybody at this low of health, I mean, you're counting on getting Assassin Dagger procs, and when you're not getting them, it can be real problematic, because the second swing, here comes the Thunder, right? And this does percentage damage, so your party's just gonna die. So it has to run away with Kane, because Kane has probably Dragoon armor and can survive the hit, but, you know, gotta patch your party up here. Use those Cure 2s, pop a tent. Cast Cure 3 with Morin. I mean, you got options, like, keep your team alive.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a little bit more of caution here, and hopefully a save. That would make me feel a lot better watching good friend Groundflier here take on these eggs.
Absolutely. Coffee and Chocobos down below here. Tower key of note here was given at the freebie chest, so it does have a tower key. So Keyless Tower off the table. Makes me happy.
Did Coffee and Chocobos check the bosses?
Yeah, Antlion at Asura and required Evil Wall at the Leviathan spot.
Oh, that is rude. Okay, I see it in chat now.
Yeah, gonna take that tower key and go up the tower, because the heck with that.
Yeah, Evil Wall of Leviathan, not a good time.
Not enough striking power to do the Eddie Hyde free kill strats. Hits plenty hard though, and will kill your party. So, and of course you're on a time limit, so just the bad time brigade all around there.
Yeah, to me, the way you treat that is like, that's basically a boss, a moon boss, and I can't imagine a situation that I would feel comfortable taking that on until I was at the level where I would be good to go on like moon bosses.
Yeah, but again, the spot has enough health that you can't like cheese the fight with Edward. So you can't do like a death setup in you can't do like a land of summon monsters damage tile damage setup to just leave like Edward and pour him alive, throw a blink on Edward and then hide him.
Might be the last thing our runners do, unless it's got the pan or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we have moon access. Like, we have access to pretty much everywhere at this point. Like, the only things that we're really missing now are Lucid Key and Earth Crystal. and Rat's Tail for checks otherwise along with that pan. So, you know, it's tough. Tough.
Another really nice grind option that our runners are going to have available to them with those sirens is we saw a lot of mage killing gear. You can go up to the moon. You can use your sirens to get warlocks and have your white mage cast mute on them, or use a mute bell and then really quickly dispatch them with either the mute dagger or the rune axe that most of our runners seem to have. So we're seeing a lot of eggs right now. Not necessarily the only thing that our runners have as an option, but it is the one that they are choosing to go with right now.
I mean, you could also just sell out all your gear and just go ahead and decide to say, hey, I'm just going to sell all my gear and buy a bunch of hourglasses.
Also true.
Chocosura seems oddly interested in doing bosses here, stopping in the inn and land a summon monster. So this looks like this is set up to, and you know, actively play the game and take on challenging locations, as opposed to do what, like, you know, like do the grind thing and try and get some more levels here. Baconpie is gonna have a ton of levels and a pretty much fully online Rosa.
Yeah, groundflier got pretty high up as well. Did take quite a bit of time grinding there, but at the same time, everybody's right around level 40, which is good. Be interesting to see how Chocosura does here. I could see a world where Antlion's not too bad in this spot because of power attack, jump, and maybe darting with edge. If you get those blinks up, but ooh, nope, going right for that evil wall. All right, we'll see how this goes.
Fully healed party charges the evil wall. Oh, he's like, oh yeah, I got darts. We're going in. He's spending that cash. I love it. I love to see this. This is super smart. Like, get a ton of damage in before your party just dies. Gotta get Edward out of here though, but otherwise.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, piling on some damage and then going for the Edward strats. So, well, maybe. I mean, raised Edward, but that might just be to tank some more hits too.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks like, no, he's trying to hide Edward here, and it's just not working. Edward just keeps getting dropped. Channeling a blink would be super helpful here, just to keep Edward alive long enough to take a turn, because Edward being level 5 is brutally slow to the uptake here, just not getting a turn.
Well, also, like, everybody else not dying to those Evil Wall. Oh, nope, there it goes again. Yeah, Evil Wall has eyes for Edward.
I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, he's so spoony. Such a bard. Groundflier in the same boat, just charging the wall here. Everybody is... Oh, we're going full Don Quixote here. It's time to just charge this wall. CoffeeAndChocobos is like, yo, I'm in this tower. I'm all about this life. I'm gonna see what's on top of the tower. I got the tower key boss down already. I'm gonna run out of here and get a second key item. And what do we got up here? We got... Oh, wow.
Wow.
We got rewarded.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Top of tower required, and the tower keys should be pushing our runners here left and right. But again, we've got Chocosura is just like, man, what can I throw at this? Man, Edward's dead again. Why is Edward dead again?
And Groundflier having also a lot of problems here getting the team online, and this is a really tough fight. I can't emphasize that enough, just how difficult that is. CoffeeAndChocobos has been making some really smart, I would say, relatively risk-averse plays, which is definitely paying off for him, getting that pan. And I think also is taking care of the tower key, so we'll see about that here shortly as well.
Absolutely. Baconpie is still scrambling some eggs here, but like has just so many levels. I love it. I love the so many levels. I am into this right now. That Rose is already at like 1,600 hit points. He's just gonna grind this out. He's like, man, there's a problem, boss. I'm gonna have all the levels, all of them. Groundflier's dead. Chocosura's dead. Edward is hidden now, though. So, Pinktail, second item. So, another key item. Will push us to grind efficiency land here, as that is number 10.
Will not be an adamant armor, though, for those who are curious, but we'll see. We haven't seen any ninja swords yet. There's still a couple good cane items floating around out there, or good cane weapons, I should say. So still might be something good, but I don't know if you'd go check it without getting the rat tail as well.
I think Chocosura accidentally unhid Edward, but had a blink up, so we're okay. I'm okay, you're okay, we're okay. Please get away, Edward. Just walk away. Just walk away.
Don't be a hero, Edward.
And what do our girls have for Coffee and Chocobos here? What do we got? It is... Oh, now I'm sad. It's a crystal sword.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Turn it into hourglasses.
But that would involve having to go back to Kokol's Forge. Who wants to do that?
It's sort of like a ton of money. Chocosura, though, does Evil Wall not going to punch itself enough here. 3,000 damage punches, while beefy, does require a lot of setup to get that to work right. You basically got to get your party... Like, basically, you've got to turn on your own party as fast as possible once Edward is out of there. Plus probably dart your spoon, plus probably dart your Excalibur. Just to probably front load about half of that damage, like front load about 14,000 damage.
Yeah, it's just tough, and like I can totally respect and understand like wanting to get this fight done, and just knowing that the formula exists for you to finish it. It's extra hard for us to watch, just knowing that Coffee and Chocobos has basically said no to that and has been rewarded for doing so.
It's part of the game we play, though. Like that's part of why Free Enterprise is great. You know, you're a good player who can take on hard bosses, but you know, could I do it faster later? Magma Key first item from Sheila, so she's like, yeah, I'm a jerk. I'm sorry. I'm mean. I'm not gonna let you go underground.
If I would have known he was underground, I would have given you this earlier so you could go get him.
Yeah, but I didn't. I saw him in your party, so I'm sorry. Here's a package for your troubles.
We're quickly running out of key items. I do just have to again point out, we are hunting for two bosses that we have not seen yet. And they're, aside from the moon bosses, we haven't seen either giant boss. We have not seen the package boss. We have seen everything else associated with the key items that Coffee and Chocobos currently has. So there's not that many boss spots left, aside from the moon.
And Coffee and Chocobos is not going to check the package boss because we do not have vanilla Rydia. So it's either at Earth Crystal or it's just at the back of the giant.
Yeah, this seed is looking like it might be a required giant for several reasons potentially, which is kind of a neat thing to be scouting out here.
Chocosura going again, just with the hide, just not doing enough damage here, did not front load enough damage for the hidden Edward / Evil Wall slashing away at itself for 2,500 a swing to do enough damage. Just not quite getting there. And Edward's dead again. What in the world?
His Evil Wall is not messing around tonight.
I mean, there's a reason why it's named Evil Wall and not Good Wall. Nice Wall. Nah, that's not it.
Friendly Wall.
No, Evil Wall's very friendly, just wants to hug Edward over and over and over again. But yeah, again, this is the conundrum. This is always the tough part, is, you know, again, Bacon Pie is just going to have the levels, right? Bacon Pie is going to be like level 1 billion at this point, probably around level 45 at this point. So it's likely to go down here, look at these two bosses and go, I'm just going to brute force this, which wouldn't blame him for that. It's a very sensible call. Also, you've got all your levels set up already for the finish. Coffee and Chocobos are going to give us our first look at the Lunar Subterrane bosses. Just decided, hey, let's go underground. Let's do this way. Let's keep an eye out here on Chocosura again. About 2,500 a hack from the Evil Wall against itself. Ooh, good roll. 3,200.
We believe in you, Evil Wall. You can do it.
Hug yourself the most. He front-loaded a lot of damage with the spoon and a bunch of Berserk edge swings, so might have it this time, but it's going to be close. Yeah, it's not enough.
I just have to quickly point out too, like, one of the really nice things I like about what baconpie has done here, and it did take a while to get these levels, and I know we were kind of maybe just like joking about how high those levels are, but to be completely honest, there is no good way to grind in this seed. You know all of the characters. You know sirens are not going to be available in shops. You're not going to have access to weak. You're not going to have ready access to any of those other grinds. So really, like, the only question you have for yourself, if you're in like a runner's position at this point, is, you know, I'm going to be able to get these sirens to do my grind. Do I want to try to get 10 key items first? And baconpie just kind of said, like, no, like, I'm good. I'm just going to go ahead and grind right now and make sure that I'm good to go for the rest of the seed. And there's definitely times when that is, like, the right decision for sure, so...
Yeah, I mean, also, like, again, party level 47, Yang is going to start hitting pretty hard. Bros has got 2,100 hit points. She's going to start healing. You know, she's got all her big spells, I think, except for White. I think she's a little shy on White, but otherwise has all the big-ticket spells. You know, like, it's safe, right? It's not... Is it optimal? I don't know. Like, we talk a lot about, you know, being able to do things faster, but, like baconpie's going to roll up on these bosses and be like, yeah, I'm probably fine. This is probably okay.
Yeah, baconpie's got all the levels that he should need for most of the bosses that are still out there. So now it just kind of comes down to execution. Potentially, I didn't see if there's a curse string or like the middle character situation, so potentially could run into some agility related situations here, but I mean, we'll see what happens. But I mean, considering that groundflier and Chocosura just spent the last, you know, 10 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes quite literally banging their heads against a wall and not getting anything to show for it. I mean, you gotta like the position that baconpie's in after using that time clearly, and has more to show for it at least.
Chocosura is going to get the one item here from Sheila, so just going to get a magma key as well. Only going to push out to 9 key items from this as well, so going to come up a little bit short. baconpie is looking at the wall, looking at Antlion, looking at the wall, and looking at Antlion. He's taking a hot minute, looking at Antlion. Gonna hug a bug. Gonna hug a bug. Coffee and Chocobos, meanwhile, is on the moon and doing what you said that one of our runners might do, which is just hop up to the moon and just start crushing warlocks for immense experience as well, which is, with this particular party and kind of having some levels already, seems like a great move.
Yeah, and one little thing I found out about this fight earlier today, you're probably not going to see it done here. If you get a cycle where you get a critical attack, or a fatal attack, I should say, on one of those warlocks, and they go to cast a spell, the game will still take the time to try to cast the spell, so it's actually not too difficult to get a double life glitch off on that encounter, which is something that I was doing really for the first time earlier today, and just kind of amazed with how not difficult it was. So that's something I think a lot of our viewers and runners should keep an eye out for in the future. If you do choose to do that as your grind option, is you can get those double life glitches without too much difficulty.
And if you do land a double life glitch on this fight, with the double experience like that, getting a double on one and a single on another, so getting 3 total life glitches, you get 250,000 experience points. That's ridiculous. That's silly experience. Like, that's big numbers right there. I do not like what Coffee and Chocobos is doing right now, though. This I do not approve of. You just did your grind, and you're going directly to a boss. I am not a fan of this. I know bad things happen when I do this. You know what happens to my grind?
You don't want to lose your grind. Oh no. Yeah, Bigen's scary.
Bigen's a little frightening here. Gonna pop a Stardust, gonna try and start getting Berserks up here. Stardust is not gonna do quite enough damage to take out the arms in this spot, I'm sorry, but the wall's gonna go up, not that it matters with this party. It's just a matter of getting your team angry in a hurry, because you gotta get through this as fast as possible.
I think it's going to be fine, but to your point, yeah, this is this is a situation that I think a lot of us over the months and over the years have seen kind of blow up in our faces a little bit. So hopefully it'll work out here for C and C.
Yep, Antlion pass, so baconpie with all them levels, all that power is just like, yo, sup. Antlion's like, sup, and then baconpie punches Antlion in the face.
We got Chocosura back on the right track here, which is nice. About to get that pan from the top of tower.
Yeah, and actually the Baigon fight not going terribly here. The thing with Berserkers is that they're going to be a little bit indiscriminate in what they hit, so they're going to take the arms down, which means Baigon's going to give you some turns back to resurrect the arms. So that's not so bad. This could be a lot worse, honestly. Again, having enough levels, is at, level 48 also. It's a little hard to understate the fact that CoffeeAndChocobos boosted up to, tier 50 as well. So maybe I underestimated the sheer power level of this particular party because Baigon is toast.
It's a good party. The scary situation is if your Rosa goes down, that can be problematic. But I think this is a pretty good setup. I think there's either a Protect Ring or a Crystal Ring floating around as well. So, and the only thing we're really looking for at this point is the Earth Crystal. I guess the Luca Key would also be helpful just to have, but there's not a whole lot left that we really need at this point. So I'd be curious to see how thorough our runners are going to be going through this moon, because you could honestly make the argument that it's equally as good to go to the giant first and try to get that character there, since the only other thing we have left is the Earth Crystal that's going to give a character.
Earth Crystal's 2 rolls at it, though, and is probably quicker than doing the giant. They're both slow as dump, but hey.
Yeah, the odds are we're still looking for 2 bosses, so the odds are at least one of them is going to be somewhere in the LST, but you could also make an argument to, maybe reset out of a boss that's not going to be one of those. Although, if you do your grind and then don't save, obviously you can't reset out either, so...
It's a gamble either way. So the big thing here is that Rosa is down for baconpie here, so the wall has sort of done some work to this party, even with all that health. Evil Wall is still, again, living up to the name at this point. Even with level 50, even with all this power, your white mage goes down and things sort of fall apart. Reliant on the solo cane here to get through it. That ain't happening.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a fight. Even if you have this high level party, you're probably going to need a Silk Web. You're probably going to need some blinks and illusions, stuff like that. So,
I just want to yell at baconpie, go use the inn, because Rosa has 48 MP, and I'm dying inside. I'm actually literally dying a little bit here from that. You could have that. It's too important. You take the extra few seconds for the mana. Do I want to fight this fight?
Okay, so this is really interesting from CoffeeAndChocobos. We've got Golbez at this spot, and everybody is mini. Now, the one thing I will say about this Invenerable, what is this, a fight for ants? Now, the mini strat works really, really well if you have casters. Now, obviously, we don't have access to the Piggy spell, which is the ideal for your melee fighters. But the other thing is this spot doesn't really have good magic attack. So I'm not sure you would want to mini anybody other than your Rosa and maybe your agility anchor or something like that, because I think everybody else is going to be okay.
It's a tough call, certainly. You're also, by walling up the party members now, you've sort of, short of having heal potions in your inventory, damned yourself to having nearly no physical output now. And when this first spell gets reflected, it's going to be a problem. But CoffeeAndChocobos has 10 heal potions in the inventory. What was ready? Came prepared. That's
I have no words for that. I'm impressed.
and is going to reflect whites with Rosa. Came prepared. I'm into this now.
I guess I'm just not used to I'm not used to having money still. Like, I totally can understand the need to buy some heal potions if you have, like, you know, unlimited money, but I'm so used to still playing with that S quarter flag that it's just like, it seems like such a luxury.
They're so cheap though. It's such a good call. It's wild. Man, I have no words right now. I'm good. I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm done.
Heal potions used to be very expensive in this game. I guess that was changed. So I don't think baconpie actually was able to beat that evil wall, and now is opting for Dwarf Castle instead.
Yeah, it goes down. What a play here. Yeah, baconpie's here now. Gonna just double back here. The wall will stand. Groundflier gonna get some pan here. Rat tail for Coffee and Chocobos. So there's a key item check back on Earth.
That's pretty nice, and has not committed to the deep part of the moon yet, so, you know, easy to just kind of go back and check that rat tail right now and kind of see what you want to do next after that.
I mean, or you could just go full invulnerable and rush down the ribbon spot. I mean, it's a little late for that, but...
The tricky thing for Coffee and Chocobos is they have not found the pass yet. So... you also know that you're gonna need to go back to Earth to do that Leviathan, the evil wall. Well, actually, I don't know if... Yeah, Coffee and Chocobos did go peek those bosses, I think.
Yeah, so it does touch the crystal and is gonna head on home. baconpie is just like, God, I'm so fast. I'm just gonna kill this wyvern. Chocosura sees Kane there and goes, man, I really want to check this package boss.
I mean, I think if you're Chocosura and you spent that much time on Evil Wall, you kind of do need to gamble a little bit here, so this seems like a pretty good play to me. But yeah, like the ideal situation for Coffee and Chocobos, for example, with this is you don't want to have to go back to the moon, or you want to get the Earth Crystal here so that you can guarantee yourself finding the Rydia before you find those last required bosses. Because with no pass, you don't want to run into a situation where you have, like, let's say the only thing you need to do is find Rydia, and then you find the Earth Crystal, for example, at, let's say, like the Ogopogo spot, and then you haven't found the pass, so you have to go all the way back and then all the way back down into the depths again. That's a pretty tricky spot to be in, so...
Tail's more throwing ammunition. It turns into an Excalibur. Rat Tail here is the important one, which turns into an ammunition thrower. Turns into an artist, though.
Oh, I thought that was a reset. I guess not.
Groundflier picks up the pan here, so probably going to chase the pan. baconpie lagging behind a little bit here. Does have the tower key. Does have the pass in hand. Does have this all mopped up as well in Dwarf Castle.
Looks like we had Valvalis at the Kaipo Inn. Is what I'm seeing from chat.
Yeah, that ain't it. that is not the beastly boss we wanted to see. Chocosura is going to go up to the giant, it looks like. So summoning the giant. Coffee and Chocobos is headed on back down to try and take on these two bosses with the extra levels that he obtained up on the moon. And Groundflier is running that pan out right now. Also going to get out of the tower and get a package. Or excuse me, not a package, packages later.
Full on gamble mode here for Chocosura, doing the giant before doing anything on the moon, which is fine. We'll see how this works out.
Yeah, this is full-blown gamble mode, because if this isn't Rydia, then you have the advantage of that you'll absolutely need an Earth Crystal at that point. You have the disadvantage of the fact that you just did the entirety of the giant.
there's so much value potentially that could be here in the giant. So I suspect we're gonna see at least one thing that we need up here, but which one it is, we'll see. If it's more than one, that could be really, really good for Chocosura.
Adds Leviathan, does not rate.
Awkwardly, that is not what we need.
Long King.
On the plus side, this should be a pretty easy fight.
Yeah, the magic output from this spot's pretty negligible, so Rosa should be able to keep up with the big waves easy peasy. So CoffeeAndChocobos has just decided I'm just gonna try to force the wall here as well. Man, the evil wall still hits hard.
It's a good boss.
I mean, it's just a terrifying spot. It's
Yeah, if the stars align to get a really scary physical boss in this Leviathan spot, you are not going to be in for a good time, and that is exactly what we have here. So,
you know what would have made this fight easier? Have white mages.
A second white mage, I think, would definitely go a long way here. I have to agree with you.
So, gang down for CoffeeAndChocobos. Still has two characters up. Groundflier going to just turn to the pink tail, gets that dartable Excalibur here. CoffeeAndChocobos, again, I think this is about 4,000 damage a pass here from Kane and Edge. And Edge is only taking like 500 damage a swing. This is probably okay. Chocosura putting those Thunder Claws to use here in this particular fight as well, as Leviathan is weak to Thunder, so I'm gonna just gonna work through the hit points of this spot here. I mean, Edge hitting for about 2K-ish, Yang hitting for around 2K-ish. Kane is lagging behind because Kane is just not that good, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Kane does not scale well a lot of the time, unfortunately. But you know, he's trying his best. He's trying not to backstab anyone and trying to contribute in the ways that he can.
So wall broken down for CoffeeAndChocobos here. So down goes Evil Wall, up comes the Sand Ruby. Not really what you wanted to see because we know that there's an Edward in bed. So your prize is you at least finished an objective. Good job. You had to do it, so you did it.
You did it. Good job. And then we know this is the pass already, so that will at least be valued for CoffeeAndChocobos here.
Yeah, CoffeeAndChocobos all of a sudden probably becomes very happy going back up to the moon now after this because there's not much else to be done. baconpie, with all these levels, has decided to take it into the tower here as well. I'm just going to cut down these alerts real quick. And we'll find a Lunar Staff, so an upgraded weapon for Rosa. Chocosura takes down Leviathan, 200,000 experience points, so gets Rosa Cure 4, fills in some of the experience gap that he's been experiencing as well from just getting slammed by Evil Wall for a few minutes.
Yeah, that is the other kind of potential draw to coming up here. You're not going to completely walk away empty-handed as long as you can get through that first boss spot with 10 key items, but boy, you really want to see a required boss or Rydia at the end of this fight coming up here.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and just put on a Sorcerer's Robe, so Rosa going full healer mode here. Also the big thing that you end up getting in particular from this is 470,000 experience points. You get silly experience with 10 key items here.
Absolutely.
First fight 205, second fight's like 240-ish or 250-ish. It's a lot. There's a lot going on up here. Second boss not required either. There's
oh no.
Not a fun fight to be seeing here, honestly. Hopefully you have like a kamikaze or a coffin to quickly kill off one of your party members because everyone's pretty healthy and I don't think you can probably damage race this one.
You do have a convenient dead Edward if you need it.
You do have the Edward bailout button, yes. You don't want Edward to survive the fight, though, so you've got to bring Edward up long enough to kill him again and have him dead at the end.
Coffee and Chocobo is going to check that Sand Ruby character, probably really hoping that it was not, or that it was Rydia, and unfortunately with the reset out. So, boy, we are down to either the end of the Giant or the Earth Crystal, or both for that Rydia, which is honestly like, I mean, we're still looking for 2 bosses as well, and I think at this point we know they're both in the Lunar Subterrane or at the Earth Crystal, or I guess the Luca Key would be the other spot that we haven't seen.
We're running out of options here. Time is of the essence here. That full moon does double damage on this particular fight because Plague is flying, and one more Yang swing. Everyone on 0, no problem. 300,000 additional experience. So yeah, 200 and 300,000 experience. Experience gap no more. That's how you grind. And our character is the important part, though.
Oh no!
Oh
I feel betrayed.
You
All
would.
right, so at this point we know the Earth Crystal is required. We're gonna have to dig that out. We're gonna have to find these last 2 bosses. This is exciting, I have to say. And I will also just add, as we cross over 91 minutes, nobody has finished yet out of 28 racers so far.
As all of our runners just like are avoiding the moon. Like everyone's like, Lunar Subterrane bottom? I have Rosa, I can't cast exit, why would I go down there? And all of our runners are just like, they're doing everything they can to not do LST. Chocosura with all those extra levels is going to go back and do the required boss, which makes a lot of sense. Baconpie, again, a little bit behind, but has a ton of grind belted already, so he is just climbing up, getting his pan. Groundflier has the package, and I'd like to check the package boss here, and we know it's Volvalis. This is wild. Like, the moon, God, the moon's haunted meme is killing me here because everyone thinks the moon is haunted.
I mean, how many races have we been in where people go deep into the moon and get nothing for it, and we know everything is through there at this point? This is wild. 90 minutes into a seed, having really only seen 2 bosses on the moon is just it's pretty wild to me. I agree.
Yeah, like, this is like the kind of scene where it's gonna be like, you should have just dove ribbon spot. Come on, Invenerable. Why aren't you telling everyone to just dive the ribbon spot? But yeah, this
I do think the lack of exit is probably psychologically part of that, to be completely honest. Like, that's a really good point.
The funny part is all 4 runners bought them in shops.
Were they just out?
Maybe they ran out already. I don't know. Like, you don't ever really buy more than 2 or 3. They're super expensive, but... Pinktail for Baconpie. Groundflier is going through the cane cutscene here. Chocosura is back, gonna try and get some wall revenge here. Coffee and Chocobos is doing Leviathan, blowing up the Yang agility anchor here. The Thunderclaw Yang, again, hitting real hard in this fight, which is great, so we'll see how that goes. Gambit, both bosses and Rydia will be at Zod. I would love it if that happened. That would be just the wildest seed.
Behind the Luca Key, if I can request that.
One boss at Zod gives you, going up Zod gives you Rydia and the Luca Key to go down and kill the other boss.
Got the reset there from Groundflier, and yeah, I'm sure our runners are just kind of wondering where, like, there's so much stuff just floating out there. It's so uncommon in a seed like this with 2 boss hunts to have not found either of them yet is very, very strange, for sure.
It's important to note, Moon's vaunted. Moon's where it's at.
Yeah, we know there is at least one thing required on the moon.
And we know that it will chain out into everything else that's required. So if it's only one thing they find up there, if they only find the Earth Crystal up there, we know it will chain out into everything else. So we're going to see 4 runners likely near full clear this seed, and we're going to kind of... Again, a lot of this is going to come down to kind of efficiency, how they decided to play the seed, where they decided to get their grind. groundflier is back on eggs here, trying to get some more levels, is trying to get sort of back up on the level train here, which makes a lot of sense. Again, just wants to make sure got all that extra power for the bosses down below. CoffeeAndChocobos, of course, finds Plague here. Is going to make the team real angry and probably try and cut through this as fast as possible. This is the fight where Kane shines with Dragoon Spear, going to do 6,000 damage a swing, getting that anti-flyer quad damage.
Yeah, I mean, really at this point, we are just kind of waiting for somebody to take that plunge. It's going to have to be CoffeeAndChocobos after this fight because they literally do not have anything else to do.
I mean, it's also going to be Chocosura after this fight. He's got nothing left on the table either. CoffeeAndChocobos party probably hitting near level 60 at this point as well. I mean, there's nothing you're afraid of on the moon anymore, I don't think. I think you're literally afraid of nothing. Choco's definitely cleared out tower already, has the pan in hand, has the package in hand, so has done the pan drop already.
So interesting here, CoffeeAndChocobos actually reset out of seeing that cane, and now is going to have to run out. The emotional roller coaster of this seed for the runners has got to be wearing on them just more than a little bit here.
Yeah, CoffeeAndChocobos doesn't even take the experience points, he just wants out. There's a cutscene that takes you out for free.
I mean, you have to wonder with CoffeeAndChocobos, if he did not get that rat tail, I mean, you got to wonder if he would have just stayed up there and full cleared the moon, or at least gone till getting Earth Crystal.
Yeah, I mean, got to be sweating it a little bit right now, and yeah, flying to the airship here, so...
Because the other thing is, like, once you actually make that plunge deep into the LST with a seed like this, you're really like incentivized to at least check all the boss spots. Like, even if you do find that Earth Crystal, for example, like, you would almost certainly check all the bosses before, coming back down. So it's just really the psychology of the seed. Watching how it's unfolded for all of our runners just has been super, super interesting to me.
Yeah, you're real. Like, the big thing is that when you do this, you're real committed. Like, I think that's the big thing with going down to the bottom of the moon is that once you go, you're gone. Like, you just can't come back up. There's no point to it. I think a lot of the other things here, I don't know if our runners have cabins. I didn't see any cabins, honestly. They might not even have bought enough tents. CoffeeAndChocobos taking a second white mage decides to add on Porum to the pack here, so looks like either going to run Porum, not going to run Porum, maybe running Porum as the anchor and leveling up the Yang. I don't know what the call is here, but that's real interesting. Or taking Porum for exit. Wow. So gonna full clear the moon and cast exit to get out.
I mean, you got to figure you're going to rack up at least a 500,000 XP doing whatever you need to do to get done with this seed anyway. So you're probably going to get Porum to at least a serviceable level to at least maybe cast Berserk at the end regardless. So it seems like a reasonable call if you're like wanting to switch anchors midstream. I can see that play.
Yeah, and so Chocosura is here going to the Pale Dim spot first. Baconpie is taking down the Dark Elf, so going to get a Protect Ring. Groundflier is looking at this wall, and the wall is looking back at Groundflier, and, the void is unavoidable, I guess. And CoffeeAndChocobos is dashing to the bottom, having already taken out the Bahamut spot and the Pale Dim spot.
Yeah, just waiting on CoffeeAndChocobos here to break some new ground. We'll be kind of curious to see if he goes to the bottom or if he goes to the Wyvern spot here. It kind of doesn't matter, but I think it'll say a little bit maybe about psychologically if he feels behind or not, just kind of how methodical or maybe, a little more frenetically kind of attacks these remaining moon spots.
Yeah, we shall see. Baconpie running that Protect Ring out, so decides to take a little bit of experience and keep moving. I'm seeing Groundflyer's got some Blinks up, got some Berserks up. Yang is hurting real bad.
Edge is a pig.
Yep, from the...
I love how you just like trailed off, like trying to figure out why Edge was a pig.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I had a moment there. I'm like, didn't just fought Evil Wall and just fought. Wow, last punch gets there. Good job. 56,000 experience points, but more importantly, required spot done for required spot out of the way for groundflier.
Yeah, nice clutch way to get that taken care of here. All right, and Coffee and Chocobos does go to that Wyvern spot first, so let's see it. You got the CP.
Orbs. Yeah, it just resets out of that. I'm not interested right now wanting to do required stuff before non-required stuff. Also, the fight's long. Even at Wyvern spot, which is not super healthy. Chocosura takes a reset after the Bagan fight after getting... just having a bad time.
I mean, I guess so I just like, okay, like I'm okay with resetting out of that fight, but like one thing to keep in mind is you have to find the Earth Crystal up here. So, I mean, you can always reset back to that spot, but if you go down here and find anything else that you need, you have to run back up there now.
I mean, it's a commitment play. That's the nature of the game. It's part of the gamble of free enterprise. That's why Coffee and Chocobos went and got a Porum. That's why Chocosura went and checked the top spot. This is Mylan Z at the ribbon spot, which is just fine, I guess, because look at these guys get real angry real fast.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting psychologically. Like I'm certainly not trying to say anything that is being done here is right or wrong or anything like that. It's just like it creates a dilemma. Like when you're playing a randomizer and you only have these last couple spots left, all of these decisions, like they really, really matter. And it'll be curious. I'm really just curious to see where everything is, honestly, more than anything else at this point.
Yeah, the tension is great. Like I'm all about this at this point. Like this is super, super tense here.
And you know, our featured runners are not alone. Again, we're over an hour 42 into the seed. Nobody has finished yet. We do not have a single finisher out of 28 people.
Yeah, as you say that, we do have one finisher. G2 has finished the race just now. 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 14 seconds for a big first place finish. Man, that's just such a fantastic time for a seed that we have seen is just like, again, full of pitfalls and things that people want to do that, you know, maybe were not correct, because that's kind of the thing that sort of happens to people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was pretty interesting to see how, you know, basically all of our featured runners did get sidetracked by one thing or another that we would probably consider a little bit more gambly. And it turned out all along that if you just kind of stuck to maybe a little bit more of a traditional route, that was going to be the way to get you there. So GG's to Jeebus on that first place finish. So,
and the spoils are the Luca key and a power shirt. Great piece of equipment, great key item to find here. So light it up. We've got some Ether 2. Is going to probably pop that last elixir here on Rosa. Yeah, just we're here for this now. Just gonna do some save manipulation here. Probably save the game here with the little bit of MP on tap, and then if the boss doesn't net anything, just reset to save the resources here. Korek in just behind second place, hour 44 and 33 seconds, so just a minute off the pace there, which is pretty fantastic. And here's Mom Bomb.
Still, wow, yeah, I was just gonna say, still no, neither of these two bosses that we're hunting for. This is wild to me.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so many spots without the bosses, so it's like, again, this might be like Luca Key, Earth Crystal, both bosses on the Earth still. Oh yeah, timer's about a minute slow. Don't worry about that, everybody. So yeah, so we've got Chocosura here. We've got baconpie is in Cave Bahamut right now. Chocosura has just taken down Mylan Z, so about to get the Luca key as well, so just making good time. Groundflier, our last runner to pop the whale, is going to head on up to the moon. So going to kind of get the news that Rydia wasn't there. pretty wild here. So Mom Bomb goes down and gives us just a Masamune. Edge's ultimate weapon. You hang on to this or do you reset this?
I mean, you already popped your elixir and all this other stuff. I think you got to just kind of finish it up here. Also, looking at Coffee, I was gonna say I've been kind of noticing relative to the other runners like CoffeeAndChocobos, didn't seem to have the best edge weapon, so you got to keep it. Also, I think that battle speed 3's been on since Dwarf Castle. Oof. Also something we can all relate to.
Yeah, I mean, I run on 2 basically flat the entire time, so it's not usually a concern for me, but like for most runners who stay on 1 and then turn it down to 3 or 4 for difficult spots like that, understandable. So CoffeeAndChocobos rolls up, last boss on the moon. We will know everything on the moon at this point.
Oh my gosh, still nothing that's required.
1 hourglass though, which is exactly what you needed here. So gonna hit that hourglass. So gonna put this fight on lockdown real quick. Berserk boys, and then grab a drink or something.
Take a deep breath. That's what I would suggest.
But yeah, groundflier is headed down to see Golbez on his kingly throne on the moon. Baconpie has Yang and Yang, the Yang Gang, Team Yang. I don't know, just going to work here. Groundflier looking at that, takes a look, looks at the menu, is considering the Golbez option. Has decided to take the Golbez option. Chocosura right behind, gonna get down to these Dark Imps. Hopefully had forged and bought a hourglass or 2, so we'll hopefully have one for this fight. 3rd place finisher in Pizza 34, one of our Football Gauntlet competitors who made a deep run, 147.41 for a big 3rd place finish there. So good on him.
Very nicely done. And okay, CoffeeAndChocobos gets the Earth Crystal, so that's it. We do not need to go back to that CPU now. We know that Rydia is at the Earth Crystal, and we know that the 2 bosses are either at the Earth Crystal or the Luca Key. So the end is near. The end is in sight for CoffeeAndChocobos. Just gonna have to go finish up potentially these last 2 spots here.
Yep, there's actually a correct play at this point, which is wild. The absolute mathematically correct play is to go to the Earth Crystal first. On the off chance that both bosses are on Zot, you can avoid Sealed Cave. It's just good math because you absolutely have to do Tower of Zod. Groundflier adds on Rosa, had taken out Golbez. Baconpie is also ditching on the Golbez lands here. So gonna head to Lower Moon, Chocosura. Chocosura, is there a chance that Chocosura just, once you have the Earth Crystal, you know there's no other key items out there, right? Like at that point in time, are you just face checking the Wyvern boss, seeing orbs and leaving?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you don't. The only question would be if you run to the spot or not, because once you're gone, you're basically gone. Like you have to. You can't come back up unless you're doing it on the way, which because you have the pass, you don't really want to do that. So.
Oh yeah, Chocosura actually does not have the rat tail yet either, so Chocosura does not know what's up at this point. So just trying to hit those assassin dagger procs here with Edge. Groundflier gonna take a look at buying in here. Baconpie is going to the giant first, so also gonna make the giant call here and do the giant bosses. Chocosura has not yet seen orbs yet, but is gonna get the Earth Crystal here. CoffeeAndChocobos dashing up the tower at this point in time. Again, very sensibly knows Rydia's waiting. No, you have to take that Earth Crystal. You need it. Don't leave it behind, Chocosura. You need that. Required by law. So we are gonna true hundo this seed. That is 1 king and 1 queen of Evelyn.
Yep, guaranteed now. 17 out of 17 plus another 17 out of 17 for all the boss checks.
And you know what? Most runners are going to go real deep into this seed, honestly. So you can't really feel bad for everybody on this going real deep into the seed. It just sort of it just sort of played out that way, that this is just how it was going to be.
Yeah, I think the only thing you could possibly hope to avoid is the giant. If you routed towards, you get to that point where you're going up to the moon. If you know that the Earth Crystal and the Giant Check are the only things that are left out there for Rydia, and you avoided the temptation of going to the Giant for the boss and character checks, which were all blanks, then that's about the only way you could reasonably cut out a big chunk of time that I think all of our runners or most of our runners did. So, and here we got Rydia finally in the very last character spot.
The last place you looked. There she is. No Rydia today, everybody. Pretty sure we're ditching out on that. In the interim, Valvala Skunk, one of our restreamers, 4th place, hour 50 minutes 45 seconds. So great for them. Good on them making it through. Have we seen Asura yet? Well, we have not seen Asura yet. We have not seen Bahamut yet. Okay, we've now seen Bahamut, everybody. He will not be on your screen for very long because both Porn and Rosa know white. It's gross. I hate it. I love it. This is my favorite thing. And we know Asura's in the sealed cave waiting for us at this point, so...
Yep, that's pretty much all we got left here. So this was quite the seed. I just want to quickly shout out Valvalis as well. In addition to that 4th place finish, I believe Valvalis is the person who came up with this flag set, who made this flag set. So this has been very, very entertaining. Very, very cool flag set that you have cooked up for us in the lab, Valvalis. Very nicely done.
You're a meanie pants making people do boss hunts and not putting the bosses in places where they can find them. You're terrible and mean, and I think you're fantastic.
Majin, we have four runners who have finished off stream. So we have, out of 28, we only have 4 featured runners, and now we've had our 5th place finisher, Dia, finishing 1:53:02. Our timers are just a little bit behind, so just keep that in mind as well when we're finishing up here.
CoffeeAndChocobos is going to check the package boss before the sealed cave. So this is going.
Why?
You know why? Because you can't leave this hanging over your head the entire scene. It just doesn't work that way.
I'm not mad. I'm just sad for CoffeeAndChocobos.
I mean, you're going to make the play, and you're going to get rewarded with the knowledge that you need to go fly over to Luca Cave as fast as possible. So this is probably Chocosura's chance to actually pass CoffeeAndChocobos here. Groundflier finding a bomb. Baconpie is hanging out up here against Plague, trying to kill Rosa. That's not working. Trying to kill Yang, that's not working. There's only one problem when your party's like level 55, is that you need an item with which to kill a party member with.
Baconpie going with white.
The only problem is it's got a cast time, so... Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, oof.
Yeah, it's a little tough. That boss fight can be a little tough if you're not prepared for it or you're not thinking about kind of strats for it. Groundflier, Masamune, CoffeeAndChocobos, rolling up, slowly walking to the bed.
Nothing good has come of beds in this seed.
No, you want no part of the beds in this seed. All of them are bad. There's Valvalis. There's the reset. There's the sadness.
Anthony, our winner tonight was Jeebus 0 with a time of 1:43:14. So just a little bit, about 11 minutes ago, we had our first finisher, and we've currently had 5 finishers, all off screen so far.
Yeah, Gambit wiped out to Plague and did not save, so is just going to have to refight Leviathan, which is just difficult, unfortunately. It's not, like, dangerous, it's just slow. But yeah, CoffeeAndChocobos making the dash to the bottom here. Chocosura done with the tower, so is going to wrap this party up here and get on out. Groundflier working on Mylan Z, which we know gives us a required Luca key. And so Groundflier is sort of trying to make efficient work of the moon here, moon being the moon, as usual.
We do know Chocosura has already seen that Kaipo in boss, by the way, so I'm pretty sure Chocosura knows to go to the Luca key next. Did I assume see Golbez and know that Cave Bahamut is not where it's at, so...
Nope, 6th place finisher just hits the line. We've got Zilch through the finishing tape here, hour 56, 38 seconds.
It's funny because I'm just like, this is quite literally a marathon seed. So you have given me that visual, Demi, of the end of the marathon race and everybody just like coming through, pouring sweat with their arms over their heads, like never again will I do a seed like this. But of course, you know, they'll be back very soon.
We're always back. Like when do you not come back?
There she is.
Yep, setting up the straight wall cast here from the direct wall cast from Rosa here just to set up the wall, and now it is just time for extreme severe anger from the balance of the team. Also going to try and get this Yang dead as well real quick, so the agility angering holds.
And we got Chocosura running down. Baconpie gets through that Leviathan fight again, back to save, and Groundflier is about to get his Herb Crystal, which is going to be probably a big sigh of relief for him.
Aurum takes out her frustrations on Yang, hits him with a white for like 6,500 damage just to keep the agility angering situation clean. Berserked Edge with a Mute Knife will probably hit quad 9s a few times here, so this should be quick and dirty. Okay, it's over. Finally.
It is crystal time. Finally, someone is in go mode.
At about an hour and 58 minutes, CoffeeAndChocobos picks up the first crystal for our on-stream runners. This seed has been difficult, it has been trying, and it has been every single synonym for the word arduous I can think of, but I would go on forever. It would be terrible.
Yeah, I mean, keeping in mind that this seed was an edge start, that was about... Remember, Demi, like, about 90 minutes ago when our runners just kept opening all these amazing weapons, and we were like, oh, there's a white mage, they're good. And then it was a hook seed, and then it was Evil Wall at the Leviathan spot, and then it was, oh my goodness, where is Rydia, and where are these bosses?
Everything looked really good for the first 30 minutes. This seed was looking fantastic. Then things sort of went off the rails a little bit, I guess.
It was a simpler time.
An easier time when Edge could one-shot bosses and we weren't concerned with finding things. Because it was early, it was fine. We didn't need everything. Now Chocosura is going to get a crystal in about 2 hours into this seed.
I think, too, like, I think what CoffeeAndChocobos is doing right now, running out of Luca because we never found Warp, quite in a lot of ways, really just kind of epitomizes how this seed has gone. It has been very, very unhelpful for the vast majority of the way after we got off such a good start, and our runners have really not at any point had the tools that they needed to efficiently get through some of these things that I think sometimes we maybe take for granted, those of us who play and watch a lot. So
yeah. Second time around, Baconpie, of course, initiates a very interesting stratagem, ends up getting a wall off on Yang to reflect count back onto Plague, and then just puts the controller down and lets Plague die. Well, I guess it's time. It's time. We're 2 hours into this. We've been here all night, it feels like.
It is just about time. It is almost but o'clock.
Oh, no, I was just saying that I wanted to go grab some ice cream when this was all said and done.
Oh, that sounds really good. I think our runners might need something a little stronger than ice cream, but we'll see. Ice cream is always a good place to start. And so is Z flags in chat. Let's see those Z flags. Let's see what our seed has in store for us tonight. Let's find out whose butt we are going to be kicking at about 10:01 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, Chocosura just behind, dashing out of the Luca Cave right now. Groundflyer's like, yo, I'm done with this place. Get me out of here. I got things to do on Earth. I'm good. You're good. We're good. I'm out. Poidrax also like, I'm good and I'm out. 8th place, 2:01 and 11 seconds. Been and done and gone. Baconpie's gonna probably drop off that rat's tail and then get back up on the moon.
I do have to say, for as trolly as the seed has been, Demi, do you know have you picked up on the bullet that we actually dodged in this seed that would have been extremely, extremely inconvenient if we had had Rydia earlier?
What's that?
We had the warp glitch and we had a required boss at the Luca Cave.
Well, oh my god, it's adorable. You can't kill it.
I forbid it.
Nope. Reset your game. Just walk away.
It's so comfy.
It's so tubby.
I love this. I have not seen this Z sprite before, and I am in love.
Neko Atsume is adorbs.
It's also just radiating a certain smugness, which I feel is the defining characteristic of this seed.
Is that it's smug o'clock?
It looks very pleased with itself.
So the agility anchor gang catches the nuke right in the cranium, which ends up being perfect. We've got wall up on Rosa, so we're going to be reflecting some whites for some hybrid damage here. So CoffeeAndChocobos is just going to try and push this fight as fast as possible. Chocosura is also rolling up right now. Speaking of rolling up, groundflier is trying to roll up to the top of the tower as fast as possible, knowing that Rydia is waiting at the end of the rainbow here. First big bang for CoffeeAndChocobos, packing about a 2.5 minute lead here. I just can't get over how perfect this sprite is tonight.
Now, I am not familiar with this particular character. What are they reclining on?
It's just a cat bed.
Looks cozy.
Yeah, Tubbs just shows up at your house, eats all your food, reclines on all your stuff. He is perfect in every way.
Sounds like a cat to me. Except for that last part.
No, perfect in every way is definitely the description here. Speaking of perfect in every way, Dark Kobold has escaped this seed in 9th place, 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 49 seconds.
And we also have baconpie back for revenge with Evil Wall here, and certainly hope that he can get through it this time with the team here.
I believe baconpie's got this at this point. Groundflier, there we go. There's a Rydia. Groundflier just needs to do this, go down to Luca Cave, and then eventually finish the seed, making a big push. 10th place finisher also hits the Linux Pancraz 204.35. Chocosura's got the setup working right now, got the Silk Web down, gonna use some Cure 3s with Rosa here. Got the Trinity going. CoffeeAndChocobos had a little bit of a lead. Only has 2 Zerkers now, though. Like, keep in mind that sort of the negative is that you get off the ground a little bit faster, but you also, your fight's a little bit slower. A little bit safer, though. Speaking of, though, here's Medio. We got rocks. Rose is like, nah, I'm good.
And there's the GGs coming out in chat for CoffeeAndChocobos with a official time rolling in on the Discord of 2:05:04. So our first featured runner to finish, and overall finishing in 11th place. He was edged out by X Pankraz with a time of 2:04:35.
And of course, baconpie has gotten revenge on the wall, taken that wall down. Still has a bit of traversal to go. Still has the moon to go. Groundflier is now popping out of the Tower of Zot, so in good shape. And Chocosura's got this fight with this sort of levels here. I think we got this on lock at this point, I'd say.
I think we also have a guest here in the booth with us. We got CoffeeAndChocobos here for a little bit of post-game interview. GG's on your finish, CoffeeAndChocobos. Good job. First on the restream to finish that really unassuming and then dreadful seed, I think we can all agree, as it went along.
Oh yeah, GG's to everyone, and thank you. That was an exercise in how not to guess where Rydia is.
I mean, it's one of those things. We were just talking. There were so many different permutations because it was remarkable to us as we were watching that seed unfold. Just that nobody was finding anything. Those two required bosses were buried deep. Could not find Rydia to save anyone's hide. And then, you presented with this option of, do I go to the giant, where there's a character check and two bosses that I could peek at, or do I go to the moon and look for a key item that maybe, might not even be there, or might just be the one thing that I need as opposed to the entire thing. So it was a really tricky decision, I think, for everybody.
Right, and I had made the decision. I wanted to try to get some grinding done early, going to the giant. You probably saw me take on that one Mac giant, and it just about ruined my day. But it was enough of a jump start to do what I wanted to do at that point. And then I ditched Porum for Rosa at some point, and then I realized, oh, I haven't done Zot, and I forgot to buy those exits in the shop when I saw them. So, lesson learned, everyone, buy some exits, buy 2 or 3, even if you have a white mage or a Tella already. They may save your hide. I thought about walking all the way down Moon after I did my grind, but then the thought of not having the exit really stopped me from doing that.
Yeah, I think Demerine was actually the one that pointed out that might be something that went into your decision making, which was super interesting. It was just a really awkward seed in a lot of ways. And yeah, I think honestly, like, that's the kind of seed I think you just sort of get through and you're just kind of like, well, that happened, we'll do it better next time. But I mean, there was nothing wrong. I thought you pointed out a couple really clever plays that you made for sure, which was doing the Mac Giant, thankfully not having it blow up in your face, which was, it was definitely a gamble, but you had some good tools for it. And then I think Demerine and I both really liked taking out those first couple moon bosses on the top before going back down and trying to tackle the required Fame Arch stuff.
Yeah, I thought on my way out, at least that's a close enough boss to walk out. I really wanted to not have to walk back in either, so I know it was a gamble taking it on before saving right after my grind, but I had enough levels to where it didn't really matter. Even though it was Bagan, he just melted.
Yeah, we were holding our breath on that one a little bit, but yeah, the punches started coming and it wasn't too bad. One other thing we noticed, and this was just kind of a curiosity thing, because I'm not sure if you could have pulled it off either way, but resetting out of the Wyvern Mega Nuke, did you see that Yang had survived, or?
I thought about it as I reset, and I thought, well, that was a wasted 5 minutes trying to do that because I could have recovered. But then I also thought I wanted to get Rosa the catch-up XP. So all in all, it wasn't too bad.
Agreed, for sure. Yeah, but it was just something that we noticed, and I know we were both commenting like, oh man, it's just like that knee-jerk reaction. You see the Mega Nuke, and it's just like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to do this. And you might have been able to do it, but probably it would have been really tough, so.
Yeah, with only one character standing, and that spot's not terribly slow, I'm sure he would have gotten the wall up, and it would have been a battle of attrition trying to life up and whittle away his HP.
Yeah, absolutely. Demi, did you have anything that you wanted to add? We do have Chocosura, who is finished, by the way, as well here in 12th place at 2:07:22 while we've been chatting here.
No, I'm good. I'll leave you to do the interviews.
Okay, you getting to work on that ice cream?
Maybe. I should have any ice cream in the apartment. I just realized I ran out.
No, another tragedy for the evening. Coffee and Chocobos, do you have anything else that you wanted to share? Anything that you wanted to add on this seed? Sorry, we're a little punchy after 2+ hours of watching this.
Completely understandable. Just again, thank you to the Restream team, commentary, and trackers for doing a bang-up job as always. And I'm sure you guys saw a special naming scheme that I had for all my characters. I just wanted to give a shout out to my my daughter who's turning 5 this week. So it's a special case for me because we didn't think she would even make it to 5 weeks. So we're super happy that she's turning 5. It's a big milestone.
That's fantastic to hear. Yeah, I think we shouted it out at the beginning of the run as well, so it is on the recording that we did some shout outs at the start, including that. So
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that as well. That's wonderful to hear, and enjoy that special birthday later on this week.
Thank you very much.
All right, and now we are joined by our second place runner from the Restream there, Chocosura. Finished that up in just a little bit more than 2 hours. Boy, that was a frustrating seed at times, I think, for everybody involved. What are your overall thoughts on that one?
Frustrating is the correct word for this seed. That Luga key and that Earth Crystal were in such trolley spots. And when I saw the Dark Imps at Ogopogo, I just facepalmed because I bought hourglasses and they were so free, but I pretty much last location them, which felt so bad.
It was that was one of those seeds. It was tough, and you made so many good plays, particularly early on. I think we both commented on going and getting the hair dryers extra XP, and that turned out really good for you, going back down and getting through the rest of that overworld efficiently. We could tell what you were trying to do with the evil wall. It just looked like you were coming up a little bit short there at first with the hiding Edward and getting that damage through. Plus, that thing just had it had Edward's number. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, really. It was a combination of that plus the fact that I simply couldn't, I couldn't keep him up for one thing, and like I said, I ran short of damage. What is that spot? Is it 35,000 HP, something like that?
Yeah, around
40,
around 35ish. Yeah, thereabouts.
Somewhere in there. Yeah, that's why I tried throwing the spoon first thing to get some early damage in before he killed everybody, but just couldn't make it work. My big mistake was trying that fight so many times, and once I gave up, I'm thinking, okay, I'm super far behind, so I need to hit up other places and quick.
Yeah, we kind of assessed that watching afterwards, and it's so frustrating too because like you're a really good runner, like I can do this. It's just you need like 2 or 3 things to go right along the way, and then watching you we were really hoping that especially going up to the giant, because we were in a position where we did not know. You were the first person to clear the giant, so we thought Rydia might be up there. We thought those 2 bosses might be up there that were required. Like, we were definitely hoping that ended up being like a really great play to get things back on track. And the one nice thing is you did get a lot of XP from going up there, but still, it was just like, it was really hard to watch people strike out over and over again in the seed.
Yeah, I imagine. That was my first thought. That's why I went to the giant anyway, because it came down to either that or Earth Crystal. And then once I struck out that package, I'm thinking, okay, let me clear giant, get my XP so I don't have to grind later on because I'm already far behind anyway. And then I just facepalmed when I didn't see either the bosses nor Rydia. So I'm thinking, where is this Earth Crystal at?
Yeah, it was crazy.
So frustrating.
And like I know how you are after we've talked, interviews and stuff a bunch, and it's just like you are such a gamer and a competitor, and watching you go to make those gambles, I was like, I love this because he is trying to win right now. And it's just too bad it didn't pay off for you, man, but I would have loved to see it because
unfortunately
you played so well the whole time. It just didn't work out. So
yeah, I got choked super hard this seed.
Yeah, you were not the only one, I guarantee you. So I think a lot of people are going to be kind of walking this one off afterwards. But I know we'll get you back here soon, and lots of good results coming, I'm sure, pretty soon for you.
All right, thanks. Did I 100% that seed, or oh no, I didn't get rat tail.
Didn't get rat tail.
Yeah, that was behind CPU, I'm guessing.
It was at Golbez. Did you see the Golbez?
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw the Golbez early. I thought about going for that, but I figured, let's not mess with that.
Yeah, that was just I think it was just like an Artemis bow. It was actually, so Coffee and Chocobos cleared those top 2 moon spots and came back down with the rat tail, and then did literally everything else before going and doing the rest of the moon. So it was, yeah, like I said, man, so many people were just in the same boat, not finding what they needed in this seed. It was tricky. Such a troll.
And the other thing that was frustrating, probably more of a mistake than the evil wall, but I realized I probably should have kept pouring because I didn't find exits nor tents and cabins. So once I figured out that I had to go to the moon, walking back out of LST feels so bad without exit.
That is another thing that Coffee and Chocobos mentioned as well. So yeah, like again, it was just such an awkward, weird, trolly seed that way, not giving you really what you needed.
Yeah.
No warp, warp glitch was enabled, but no Rydia the entire time. It was just, that seed, man.
That felt kind of bad too, but I wasn't really worried too much about that. But it was just not having exit. Were there exits anywhere in the seed?
They were for sale on an overworld shop, and I don't remember which one it was.
Oh my gosh. Silvera, I'm guessing. I didn't check that shop.
Potentially. But yeah, we've got a bunch of finishers too at this point. Just so everyone's aware, Dishmu finished in 13th, 209.58. 14th place finisher was Tybalt, 214.34. Pseudo-Ping 15th, 214.52. Rexwall finished in 16th place, 215.46. Beer Nerd, 17th place, 216.12. Stone Dingley, 18th place, 216.55. And Groundflier hits the line on the mainstream, 2 hours, 17 minutes, 2 seconds after a very uneventful Zoronos fight.
Yeah, for sure. So everybody's kind of rolling in here, getting everything out of the way and finding those last couple spots probably. Chocosura, you got anything else that you want to add on this one before you head on out for the evening?
I will say this about this seed. It's very equivalent to a Scholar Kitty Classic.
Oh, agreed. We might Gambit.
Just had to say that.
Gambit, new to the restreaming game, might be developing a bit of a reputation here, I think.
Indeed.
But no, seriously, very nicely done. This is the seed wasn't really agreeing with the things that you were trying to do, but it was a pleasure to watch you race tonight, Chocosura.
Thank you. Guys, take care. I'm gonna hop off and head to bed.
Sounds good. Have a good night, man.
You too.
All right, and we got Groundflier in here now as well, our third finisher on the restream. Overall, that time of 2:17:20. GG's Groundflier. What do you think of that? That seed was pretty trolly, huh?
Oof. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I couldn't hear the push to talk, sorry. Yeah, that wall was something special. Evil Wall was definitely a problem for me, so.
Yeah, Evil Wall absolutely lived up to the name.
Yeah, you and Chocosura rolled up to Evil Wall at about the same time and then just decided to attempt to chip away at the wall a few times, and it went, sadly, not terribly well.
So fast. I was just like, okay, I guess I just need to give up and move on because I just didn't want to bang my head against it too many times, you know?
Yeah, between the speed and the physical attack, Evil Wall is absolutely one of the worst bosses you can find there. And I don't think anybody was able to defeat that their first time through. I think everybody pretty much had to leave and come back. So that was just, it just seemed like everybody was really cruising along pretty well until that point. And then that Evil Wall was quite literally a wall that really just threw a lot of folks off track, I think, for the entire rest of the seed there.
Yeah, it sent me, I don't want to say full tilt, but definitely it had me a little upset for a bit, especially when I went up to the moon and saw Illusion sitting there in the Hummingway shop, that was rough.
Yeah, that definitely would have helped. Now, did you? I'm trying to remember who had what configurations. Did you have Rosa and Porum?
I had Porum. I did not get Rosa. I dropped Rosa. I kept Yang, Kane, and Edge.
That's right. Yeah, I think baconpie is the only one who had both white mages. And honestly, a fight like that probably would have been very, very helpful. But yeah, I mean, everybody struggled with that fight. That is a super, super difficult fight. So
yeah, I feel like that was really my only hangup, because at that point I was super strong. I was just blowing stuff up and went up to the moon, destroyed everything up there except that really gross looking gold bess at Cave Bahamut. I'm like, fade the heck out of that.
yeah, I think it was basically just a matter of tracking everything down, because and the funny thing was a lot of people were really getting off of that beaten path, and really, like, you kind of just needed to follow a slightly traditional routing and it was going to take you where you needed to go, rabbit holes and all. But there was a lot of tricky stuff in that seed, especially when you were maybe trying to hunt for Rydia and those last couple bosses. It was a tricky seed that way.
Yeah, when I finished up the moon and still hadn't seen a boss or Rydia yet. I mean, I had the Earth Crystal, so like I was hopeful, but I was like, if I need to do Giant, and everybody has just been burning through Giant and finishing off that way, that was going to be tough.
Yeah, thankfully you managed to avoid the Giant, and did not have anything required up there other than just, I guess, a lot of XP. So that definitely helped you out a little bit.
Yeah, I can't complain about missing that.
We also, you were really efficient in the early game too. I think you were the first person to get all the way to Twin Harp, first person to get the hook. Kind of clean up that last little bit of the overworld. What did you kind of think about this start with the Edge? And then it seemed like there was a lot of good characters and gear around as well.
I mean, when you get Edge and then a Zeus gauntlet drops in your lap, it's like, oh, hi, I guess we're going to do this now. And yeah, then like everything just was destroyed in my path at that point. And I ended up finding a ninja sword somewhere or other, and obviously the Masamune. So yeah, he was just destroying everything. It was really, you really hate to see it.
Well, it definitely gave us a false sense of security for how the rest of that siege was going to go. But, you played it really well. I thought you made a lot of really smart decisions along the way. I really like how you committed to the egg grind just to get a bunch of levels as soon as you got underground. We saw a couple of our other runners really struggling right after they got underground, just because it seemed like the difficulty really spiked quite a bit with some of the bosses specifically that were down there. And it was just it was really good to see you race. I thought you had a really good race tonight. So did you have anything else that you wanted to add or share from your experience this evening?
No, I mean, it went relatively well. I didn't feel super awesome about most of it, dropping like 4 times to wall, I think. But other than that, I think I did pretty well. And I am looking forward to listening back to this, because Demerine and you, Blaze, are fantastic, and I cannot wait to listen to you. And obviously Gambit with the restream is kind of a monster. That seed was something special. He's getting a name for himself. And I guess Xenocat then was doing the tracking. I'd like to thank her as well. All of you putting this together, it's awesome. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a fun restream tonight. Definitely, we got the runners up there, their links for you, and then our links as well. We do again, as you said, want to appreciate and thank our off-stream team, or our I guess not on the mic team. We got Gambit 017 on the restream. We got Xenocat on the tracking, and perfect tracking job tonight, I have to say. There were a couple spots where I missed things, which happens a lot when you got these 4-person races, especially early on with so much going on, and everything was perfect on the tracking. So really, really nicely done there too. So yeah, this was great. Demerine, do you have anything that you want to add? I think we're gonna maybe head out here after this.
Yeah, I think we're gonna head over and raid baconpie and give him some love while he goes down and gets Luka Key and finishes up this seat. This was a fantastic race. It's always a pleasure getting to commentate with you, Blaze. It's always a blast. Just tons of fun, certainly.
Yeah, this was great. I don't know. I don't know if we got as punchy as we do some other times when we've commentated together, Demi, but this was a really fun one tonight, and I really enjoyed bantering with you. And this was a lot of fun. This was a really good. Hopefully, everyone was very entertained. There was quite the mix of stuff going on tonight. A lot of really skillful play, a lot of kind of just crazy stuff, and then the long hunt for the required stuff at the end there. So all good all around. Thanks again, everybody, for being here and being a part of this tonight.
Yep, we made it. Bye, everybody.
Good night.